Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joe Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. This is now episode 295. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Titans signing DeAndre Hopkins, the state of the running back position, Summer League standouts, the new in-season tournament, and much more. I want to give a shout out to everybody for the last full episode. We had so many entries for the merch giveaway, over 100. And I'm really excited for this merch shop. I really am. Red is wearing the shirt. Drew's wearing it. I'm wearing it. Dehls is representing Boston right now.
You guys know.
We texted in the group chat and Dehls completely ignored the text and he forgot his shirt.
Stop.
This guy hates.
If we're being honest, Joel's the one who did me dirty.
No, he's
Joel's the one who did me dirty because Drew came here with the shirt on. Riv wasn't here for the last episode, so he just got his shirt today. Joel looks at me, I'm like, bro, I was like, you're not going to wear the Pick a Side shirt, right? So, like, I'm not the only one. He's like, yeah, I got you, bro. I got you.
Bro,
he goes upstairs to get something, comes back down. It's in the Pick a Side shirt.
Nah, it was
now
messy.
I look like the bad guy.
It was messy for sure.
I went upstairs and now I sound really loud right now.
Here we
Let
go.
me try to fix it. Do I sound better?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sound
Okay.
good.
So I went upstairs and I found the Pick a Side shirt and I was like, you know what?
Oh, this is clean.
I'm gonna feel comfortable in this. I feel comfortable in this right now. I said I'm gonna wear that. I'm gonna wear Dehls. I tried to do right by you, though. I really did. I tried
don't believe
I
you,
tried to
not in the
find a spare
slightest.
Pick a Side shirt, and I just couldn't, man. I just couldn't.
You slimed him.
Listen, man. But he's representing Boston, and today we're gonna talk about Jordan Walsh. We're
Yes,
talking about
sir.
the Summer League standouts, and that's one of his guys. So he's
It's true.
representing Boston,
Yeah.
and you know,
I'd rather
you gotta
represent Pick a
respect
Side
it.
with all due respect.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It is your brand at the end of the day.
It is.
It's all of ours. You failed us.
Celtics don't pay me, so
No.
You know.
No. Fuck 'em.
let's be serious.
Let's start off with the first topic of the show.
Let's go.
Let's talk about the Tennessee Titans and them signing DeAndre Hopkins to a 2-year, $26 million deal, up to $32 million with incentives. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Riv, I seen some of your tweets on Twitter. I seen that you might be ready to push the Titans agenda that's coming.
Now I'm happy that we're starting with you, bro.
Here we go.
Wait, what the fuck?
You know why I'm happy?
He called me off surprise.
I'm happy because last podcast we were here and we were talking about the AFC South. And in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I really wish River was here because I know that he just has just a feeling about the Tennessee Titans. And it's a shame that you weren't able to share it. And now in hindsight, it's a little bit better that you weren't able to do that because we didn't know that DeAndre Hopkins was about to sign with Tennessee. So talk to me. Talk to me, Rivio Foreign, about what you believe that the Tennessee Titans are
And
about
you
to
also
do.
didn't get a chance to push your CJ Stroud agenda, which I know you said the Texans could win 7
Yeah.
games this year.
Yeah. No, I missed some time, man. I told you guys in the car that I'm gonna try to lock in this year and definitely get some agendas out there. Definitely just
You got a handful.
put a more conservative effort.
Listen, bro, the
into
way
this
that I
football year.
treated the NBA seasons, the way you got to treat this football
No, for
season.
sure.
You feel me?
Look alive.
We're here for sure, yeah. But no, I thought the move at first was great because they needed a guy on the outside. You know, they needed a number one, and I was reading some stats that Joel typed out, of course, on Twitter, and then of course I was looking up my own stats on Google. Traylon Burks, he didn't look too great last year, and I think
Whoa, he had his moments.
DeAndre Hopkins can help that,
He
and
can.
I think he can also help the running game. And there's familiarity in the office. The OC DeAndre Hopkins was with him before. Mike Vrabel, he's very consistent with him too. And Mike Vrabel, he gets the best out of his guys. So I think that's really important. And plus, money talks. It was a good amount of money from Tennessee. He probably could have got a little bit less or a little bit more from somewhere else, but the money sticks there. The coaching is there that he's very familiar with in the office. So I think it's good. As long as Ryan Tannehill is healthy, as long as Derrick Henry, the beast, still the best running back in the league, I think to most of us. Maybe you have that Taylor guy at 1. I don't know how you be moving,
Probably
but
CMC right now.
I was going to say
all right,
CMC.
well, as long
And very soon Bijan.
as long as Derrick Henry is healthy, he's still the best running back in
I
the league.
respect that opinion.
And then with DeAndre Hopkins, we've seen when he's on the field and he's healthy, he's still one of the 10 best receivers in the world. So as long as you got that, you got Traylon Burks, you got a modest offensive line. Like I told you in the car, I seen some moves they made. It wasn't great, but I had to look them up, see what they was like. It was all right. So as long,
Some moves.
they was very calm. So as long as they do that, the defense is there. I think this team can win about 9 to 10 games, maybe 10 is a high ceiling, but I think
I
this team
respect
could get to 9-8. The division is wide open. I like what the Texans is doing over there. I drafted CJ Stroud in my fantasy.
Yeah, that was a
In the
fold.
second round. No, it's going to be amazing.
Second round,
It's going to
fold.
be. Don't sleep. Don't
Okay,
fucking sleep.
all right.
But I drafted them high. The
Yes.
Texans are going to be good, but I think that division is wide open. I think the Jaguars, as great as they are and as great as they have a stranglehold on the division, Tennessee usually always at one point fights with them or is in battle. They had like 10 less wins
last couple of
year.
seasons. It's been the times, but last year, of course, the
Vrabel
Jaguars
always
got it.
gets the best out of his guys. So I think
Facts.
DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to have the most impact with this team because I think this team is probably the closest because, like I said, the division is weak. They still have Tannehill. They still have Derrick Henry. So I'm really high on this move for sure.
The Titans are very similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Vrabel is very similar to Mike Tomlin. They're both
he's stealing it bar for bar.
They're both
oh my
great.
God.
Had a footnote here? No.
Can you say, yo, Joel mentioned this on the last podcast? Or you just gonna Quinn Miller him?
You know, he just
Bro, you're Quinn Miller like hell.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you had it copyrighted. Listen, Mike Vrabel's always going to have this team competing, and I like parity. DeAndre Hopkins going to the Chiefs, going to the Bills. I don't think he would have made the Bills favorites. I think they would have been more dangerous. The Chiefs become favorites with DeAndre Hopkins. Would have loved them in green with the New York Jets. But I like this Titans move because they need more weapons to surround Ryan Tannehill. I feel like people underestimate what Ryan Tannehill can do when he's surrounded by good surrounding parts. In 2019 and 2020, he was playing at a top 10 quarterback level when he had a good offense around him. Now, he is a system quarterback. He's not going to elevate the talent, but he is good when he has that supporting cast around him. And the Titans for the last couple of seasons have been losing a lot of pieces. And you mentioned the Jaguars having a stranglehold on the division. I have the Jaguars winning the division, but they don't have a stranglehold on this division anymore. And looking back at it, I don't think they ever did. Last year was the first year they won a division in a while since the Blake Bortles era in 2017. And the Titans, every year with Vrabel, they're 500. Last year, they lost the most games due to injury, and still they were standing firm week 18, facing the Jaguars with Joshua Dobbs starting. Trevor Lawrence had a pretty mediocre game, below average game.
But the Titans blew it. It was their division to win for a good portion of the season. The wheels started to fall off towards the end of the season.
And Josh Dobbs was there, and he gave him a chance. He threw a late game interception that cost them, and that's what happens when you start a backup quarterback in that meaningful of a game. But they were in it. My question with this DeAndre Hopkins move is, does he play the X or the Z flanker receiver role? Mm-hmm. Because I know the Titans want Trae to be the X, and he has an advantage over DHop right now in size, speed, but he's just not somebody that can consistently beat press coverage. And last year, he struggled. I think versus zone, man, and press coverage, his success rates were below the 25th percentile. And receivers that have that low of a success rate typically don't become good starting level receivers. So I'm curious to see where they're going to play DHop. I think he's going to play the Z flanker role. Brett Coleman mentioned it on Twitter. And I think it's smart because that way you can move DHop around more. And Traylon is going to get those matches where he can threaten the defense deep. But I do want to see improvement from Traylon in Traylon's route running. And I think that's the major key for this offense. But this offense has potential. Derrick Henry's entering his 29-year-old season. Historically, running backs fall off a cliff that year. So I'm going to be looking with a magnifying glass to see whether he's still the same or not. But I like Shige. Traylon has upside. D-Hop's going to maximize this offense. So I think it'll be a respectable offense, enough for this offense to put up points and let their defense hold opponents to less than 20 and maybe win those games. And I think their offensive line isn't that bad either. It's a completely new group. You know, they signed Andre Dillard from the Philadelphia Eagles, who is a starting level tackle. He just never got a chance because of Jordan Mailata. He just came out of nowhere and was a generational tackle. They signed Daniel Brunskill from the 49ers, who is a good starting level guard. And if Peter Skoronski's any good, this offensive line will be average. But, you know, I think that this team is still competing for a wild card spot. I do see them in like the 8 to 10 win range. If I were to predict it right now, I think they're going 9-8. I had them at 7 wins the other podcast. But I think adding in DHop to this offense, I give them 2 more wins by that.
I'm at 10.
So you don't think, because the last episode we were in agreement that there's a better chance the Jags are the 1 seed than they lose this division. Now you're telling me the Jags never had a stranglehold on the division.
That's what I was going to say. If we're having conversation about offseason, Riv's statement is pretty accurate. A good portion of people believe that this is the Jaguars division to lose. That's what he means by stranglehold. I understand what he was saying. Of course, previous seasons, this has been the Titans division for a good amount of time. Jaguars had the number 1 overall pick. I believe it was 2 seasons in a row where they were able to get Trevor Lawrence. and they were able to get thank you very much, Walker last season. But this season, this offseason, all the conversations in the AFC South has been about the Jaguars. But I'm with you. Of course, you can't just simply overlook the Tennessee Titans for the sole fact that Mike Vrabel every single year leaves them at least average to slightly above average. And you mentioned something pretty interesting about slot percentage, playing outside wide. Trae had 55 snaps in the slot last season. That's basically 21%. A good portion of his snaps were outside wide. He had 209 outside wide, which is almost 79%. DeAndre Hopkins, very similar though, although in 3 seasons, the highest percentage that he played in the slot was this past season at 27.3. That's 106 snaps at the slot. And then out wide, 282, which was 72%. And years prior, which 2021 and 2020 with the Arizona Cardinals, he played outside wide 85% of the time and then 90% of the time. And 90% of the time in 2020 was the only full season that he has had with the Arizona Cardinals.
AJ Green, he had Rondale Moore, and he had Marquise Brown
last year.
And I was going to say, and no Christian Kirk last year for the first time while he was in Arizona. He had a lot of slot guys. So we saw him in the slot a little bit more. That's something that I'm looking forward to in Tennessee. How are they going to change the scheme? How are they going to put DeAndre Hopkins in this offense where he's not just solely on the outside, playing more on the inside? You mentioned it. Trae is going to play a lot on the outside, but I think that it allows a little bit of versatility between the two of them. And I know Joel's going to speak on this a little bit, so I'll go very surface level. I do believe this helps Trae Burks. Anytime you have an alpha, true number 1 wide receiver, it brings all the attention to them, and it allows Trae to now have a little bit more space, not face as many double teams. I say double teams because obviously Trae is not at that talent level. However, when you're the only wide receiver option, that's just naturally what's going to happen. There's the luxury that they have that Derrick Henry also is their running back. So it's going to be a lot of, maybe now Derrick Henry benefits too, because maybe there won't be as many stacked boxes with threat of DeAndre Hopkins out wide and Trae Burks, who is an ascending wide receiver. I think Trae Burks definitely benefits from this. I think Derrick Henry definitely benefits from this because we're not going to be seeing as many stacked boxes, or we, as I say, of course, the Tennessee Titans, they're not going to be seeing as many stacked boxes. And it's just going to allow the offense to be a little bit more free-flowing. I'm going to add a game to max. So I had them around that 7-8 range, 8-9 range now for sure. This is going to be a very, let me not say fun team per se, because I still have concerns about the offensive line. Of course, Skoronski was a very nice addition at the draft, one of the better offensive linemen available, but that's still a concern for me. The secondary is still a very strong concern for me, but this definitely gives this offense a nice jumpstart that it desperately needed.
I think you could start Hop or Trae. They could kind of be interchangeable.
I agree.
I'm excited because last season, when we look at both of these receivers, DHop last year when he was in Arizona, you have Hollywood and Rondale Moore. Hollywood has showed he could play on the outside, but they're both smaller guys. So you're expecting you're expecting DHop to play on the outside. Same thing with Tennessee and Trae, where he was really their only wide receiver option right last year. They had you had Kyle Phillips, you had Westbrook-Akine, but Trae was the only kind of alpha type receiver that was there that would command being an X receiver. But now that you have both of them there, I would be excited to see Trae play more in the slot. He did really well in Arkansas in his college when he was playing there, being able to match up against smaller corners or match up against linebackers to be able to take advantage of that. And Tennessee now has the option to play both these guys. I don't know if it'll really be, Trae, you're the X 90% of the time, and DHop can play in the slot. I do expect them to switch it up depending on their opponent, but it's a big boost to the Titans offense overall. Last week when we did the football episode, I said this offense is kind of, head and shoulders when it comes to them and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they got DHop. Blows them out of the water, right? I don't even think it's that much of a conversation. You have DHop, you have Trae. Gotta take it. And of course you have Derrick Henry there. And if you're just talking about a group of guys with DHop, Trae, Derrick Henry, and Chig at tight end, this is one of the most big physical, you don't want to get in a brawl with these guys. They're ripped, they're strong. You know what I mean? All of that. Yeah. So they're not someone they're gonna be running over you. They can run past you. They're physical. So this really does feel like an on-brand Tennessee Titans type of move to make. And they put themselves kind of in the sleeper category of the AFC, right? I think before this move, none of us even maybe an outside chance of a playoff spot. Now I think there's a path to a playoff spot. And, you always have those teams, especially the first round of the playoffs, where they're looking over the next week. Oh, whoever has that bye, maybe it's KC, maybe it's the Ravens, it's the Bengals. Maybe they're overlooking that Tennessee team, and they can surprise them because, like you guys mentioned, we know Mike Vrabel is going to have these guys ready to play. We know this defense, maybe at the end of the year, they're not in that top 5 type group, but they have those moments like they did against the Chiefs last year where they had Malik Willis starting and they held them to 20 points in overtime, right? So they have moments where they can be an elite group. And I know a lot of people are kind of having this agenda where it's like, oh, Tennessee receivers, that's the place to go where receivers die because we saw Julio do it, right? But if you look back, Julio, his last year in Atlanta, he was banged up. He gets to Tennessee, he was banged up. Last year, DeAndre Hopkins had to come back from suspension. He had 64 catches, 717 yards, and 3 touchdowns in 9 games. That's a 17-game pace of 119 catches, 1,355 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And
he came back last year
basically without Kyler. That's with Colt McCoy.
Yep.
That's with Trace McSorley.
Yep.
Like, this is with some terrible quarterback play. So just because it happened to Julio, and now you have DHop, who's kind of on the back 9 of his career, doesn't mean that he's just going to go there and not be the same receiver. I'm still expecting DHop to have a great season. Statistically, maybe it's not there because we know they're going to give the ball to Derrick Henry 30 times a game, and that's kind of what my tweet was about, where maybe this helps Treylon in terms of the stuff Joel's talking about, right? Success against man, zone press, whatever it might be. But since the Titans throw the ball so infrequently, I would rather have Treylon soaking up all those targets. Now you have Hopkins, who I'm expecting to have the most amount of targets on this team. So I don't think production-wise, he's going to be up to, I don't think he's going to get 1,000 yards. He's going to have that kind of breakout production year. But to Joel's point, hopefully this helps kind of the coverage he sees, and more people are going to be looking at DHop. Treylon sees more one-on-one coverage, and he can exploit that.
Well, Dehls. Well, in 2019, so Tim Kelly was the Houston offensive coordinator. DHop was there. He had a K. He had the offense. They passed the ball 55.2% of the time in 2019. 2020, 61%. 2020, 56. So I think it does help Derrick Henry in a sense where you don't have to, you can't force feed him 30 times. He's about to be 30. Mm-hmm. So and this offense needs a healthy balance of pass the ball, run the ball,
sure.
Pass the ball, run. You can't just have Derrick Henry out there riding the team on his back, especially not right now. He's nearing 30. Injuries have been piling up. So I think a healthy infusion of now you have somebody that's connected with DeAndre Hopkins. He can still do it, like you just mentioned, with the numbers. Treylon Burks hopefully makes that jump. You can now infuse a healthy balance of, okay, we're going to give Henry the ball 15 to 20 times a game, but we're going to force feed DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks, and hopefully that gets us going, and then we can start having a balanced offensive attack. And if Ryan Tannehill is healthy, we've seen in those years he can be they were at their best when they had Derrick Henry and they had A.J. Brown as a number 1. Ryan Tannehill was having a good statistical season. That's when they were really a dominant team. So if you can have that healthy balance, it helps Ryan Tannehill, but especially Derrick Henry, who you want to keep healthy throughout the season.
So your point about Treylon in the slot, in college, that's all he did.
It was a lot of slot, a lot of screens. He had some stuff in the backfield too.
Which is why in the NFL, when they kind of just threw him out there to be the X, it was alarming because that's not his natural position. And that's why I have question marks around him being that X receiver, because the difference between being an X and a Z, because both receivers play on the outside. The Z is just a flanker.
Yep.
The difference is at the X, you have to stay on the line of scrimmage and you can't go into motion, which means you're going to get more press man at the line of scrimmage. You're not able to be a little bit back off the line versus the flanker. You're able to have that cushion. You're able to go in motion and get mismatches versus the defense. I feel like Treylon needs to be used in that way because, and this really the reason why I was so low on the Titans offensively before they got DHop was because Treylon has the tools to, be a great receiver, at least from a physical standpoint. You look at his profile, but when you watch the tape, his route running, his ability to against jam, they're all lackluster. So I wasn't too high on Treylon having a breakout year because his rookie season wasn't good. Where now DeAndre Hopkins comes in, I know people like to view receivers from the lens of fantasy a lot of times. Treylon might not get as many targets, but this now takes more defensive pressure and focus off of him. Sure. And that's where I think it opens up the offense for him and also somebody in Shige. I think a sleeper in this offense is Tajay Spears, the backup running back behind Derrick Henry. In college, he was phenomenal. He has a lot of wiggle and burst. And Derrick Henry, who's getting older, I don't think the philosophy is 30 carries a game with Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry is going to regress this upcoming season. He still might have 1,000 yards, but it's going to look much different than it's looked in years previous.
The only reason I have a little bit of pushback on that statement alone is for the sole fact of now that DeAndre Hopkins on the squad, like I mentioned earlier in my monologue, he's not going to be facing the same. They're not going to be stacking 8 against him. You can't. It's impossible. DeAndre Hopkins will kill you outside. I'll also say this. Derrick Henry is not a normal running back. And the first name that comes to mind that I think about later in their career that they still were able to be dominant, well, let me say 2. One more obvious, one a little bit more low-key. The obvious name is Adrian Peterson, right? That's the gold standard for running back. But when you mention Derrick Henry, you need to start accumulating his name with the other greats. He's an all-time great running back, all-time great player in the NFL. And I say that because AP was one of the few in recent memory that was able to keep that longevity. Another name more under the radar that obviously people still know the name, New York legend, Tiki Barber. Dude was 31 years old, still being a dominant running back, one of the best running backs at the position, still accumulating an insane amount of carries, still being able to be effective. So I look at Derrick Henry, someone who still has that physicality, that strong capability to continue to take a strong workload, but also at the same time, now with DeAndre Hopkins, it becomes a little bit more easy for him, I think, in my opinion.
It does. I think you do see less stacked boxes, but if your concern is about the offensive line, I think that those holes will be few and far between for Derrick Henry anyway. And I don't think he has the same physicality as he had 2 years ago. And there's a reason why the yards per carry has been diminishing. I just think the data overwhelmingly backs up that at 29.
Honestly, it might be a little younger. It might be like 27,
sure.
28. But Derrick Henry has gone to a point for me that I got to see it before I predict it.
That's my thought process.
I get it too, because you literally see like the age apex at 20. It might even be less than 29, but it falls off an insane cliff once you get to that age 27, 28 season. Derrick Henry is just such an outlier
this year.
Derrick Henry is just such an outlier. That's like
49 attempts.
Yeah, especially the carry. How many carries have the year prior? Do you have 300 plus?
219 because he was
He
hurt.
got hurt.
Oh, right.
The year before that, though, 378,
Yeah.
2,000.
And I think the reason why there's a
It's
narrative around
He's a code, bro.
the Jaguars being a team that has the stranglehold over the division is because they have the better quarterback and offensive coach and Doug Peterson.
And Calvin Ridley's making people think that this offense is going to be all
I think Calvin Ridley's going to be a Pro Bowler this year.
Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I think he's
That's a
going to
lot
be a
of
Pro Bowler.
It doesn't hold much weight to me. However, I understand what you mean by that. He's going to have a really good year.
How many receivers
That's why I
make
say
the
that.
Pro Bowl? 6 on each side?
6. No,
sounds right. I don't know.
Yeah,
A
sounds
Pro
right.
Bowler for a receiver, I think.
I'm gonna be
Calvin
honest with you, bro.
Ridley.
I don't care about the.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming
really
he's
don't.
saying he'll have like a top 7.
No, but that's what I understand the sentiment.
So what's the stat line?
Ridley's going to have over 1,200 yards this year. Over 1,200 yards. He's going to be.
I'll guarantee over 1,000. I'll guarantee.
I can guarantee over 1,200.
Here's the thing: he's more of a touchdown guy, in my opinion, because even before he blew up for the 1,300 yards that year that he was alongside. Correct. Before that, he had 8 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. He had a 10 touchdown season without breaking a rack.
1,300.
He's a touchdown guy.
He's a TD merchant.
So I feel more confident
Opposite
that
of Julio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which
10
is kind of
touchdowns, 7, 9, and then 2.
So I bodied that.
You did.
Thanks. Yeah, dude. I mean, when in terms of getting to the end zone, Calvin really is like that. So I could see that 8 touchdown type of season, but the yards, Christian Kirk, he's going to be playing against number 2s, and I think that's where he's going to thrive. He's very comfortably better than him. But I say that as Christian Kirk last season really didn't play like we had seen him for a majority of the season against the wide receiver ones, because he's just, the cornerback ones, because that's just not who he is. Calvin Ridley would now take that attention. The field will open up for a little bit more for Christian Kirk. And I just think a second year in the offense, I think that Christian Kirk, we're just not going to forget about him. I think Christian Kirk's still going to be, I wouldn't be shocked if Christian Kirk's the leading receiver on this team in terms of yards. I think very easily Calvin Ridley's the best player in terms of talent-wise. But again, year 2 in his system.
I'd be surprised.
Dude, Christian Kirk put up some crazy numbers last year.
Ridley's more talented.
He's not facing number 1 corner.
But he just missed almost two seasons.
It could take some time.
Listen, I'll tip my cap. I'll happily say that I'm wrong if Calvin Ridley comes out and just 1,300 yards after missing 2 years. Like, that is a testament to who he is as a player. I respect him. I'm not rooting for him to fail. It's just I'm trying to keep it in my realm of realism. It's you missed 2 years of football. It's going to be extremely. And the last that we saw of him, he was good. He wasn't the Calvin Ridley that he was the season prior. He was good.
He was kind of mid, honestly.
2 years, he was kind of mid, but I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. Especially because what I'm saying right now is kind of against Calvin Ridley. Kirk came in last year. He shoved me up, immediately was able to be their wide receiver 1, although sometimes wasn't the strongest wide receiver 1. But now you get Calvin Ridley, who's going to draw attention away from Kirk. Year 2 in the system. Lawrence is more than comfortable with Kirk already. It would not surprise me if Kirk's the leading receiver.
Too.
He just got paid.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Kirk's also
I
gonna
think
have less
Kirk.
targets.
I think Kirk just has a certain role, and he's not going up against number one corners because he's going up against the slot corners.
That's true.
He plays primarily in the slot, so he has an advantage there. But I think Ridley will be the priority in this offense. I'd be shocked if Kirk has more yards. But I think the summary of what you're saying though is that the Jaguars have a lot of offensive weapons, and that's where people kind of lean them over the Titans, and so do I. But when you go down the position groups between the Titans and the Jaguars, it's very even. The gap is with the quarterback play, and that's a very huge thing. There's no doubt about it. But I think this Titans defense is going to take a pretty good leap in terms of pass defense next year. I think that last year
the gap is in offensive talent, just talent.
There isn't a huge gap in offensive talent at the receiver position. I can see it. I do see it. But defensively, I think the Titans have a better defense than the Jaguars.
Kirk was actually fucking nuts last season.
1,100,
almost
touchdowns?
1,310 touchdowns.
It was amazing.
Bro, what
amazing.
the fuck?
It was amazing.
Like, we're just going to suddenly, I find it very hard to believe that the Jaguars
He might have a K again. For sure.
No, I think that's a lock. That is easy. That's the floor for Christian Kirk.
I don't think it's about forgetting. I just think it's about who's going to get open faster. And I see Calvin Ridley getting open faster.
I understand where you're coming from.
And being the first read in progressions more often. But the Titans have a better defense than the Jaguars. And I think offensively, with them injecting DHop into the offense, I think, the Jaguars have that with Ridley, Kirk, and Zay Jones, because Zay Jones was a pretty good wide receiver too last year. Evan Ingram was a great tight end last year too. I think the offensive line is similar. Trevor Lawrence makes the offensive line look amazing.
You're 100%
because his sack rate is so low, his pocket presence is so good that he evades pressure and makes his offensive line look good. But the offensive line is similar. I think the talent between these two teams is right there. But the Jaguars have the edge in quarterback, and that's why I have them winning the division. But I do think it is a competition, and I don't think it's a stranglehold because I do have to respect the Titans and the fact that they've been 500 every other year. I think that speaks for itself that you just can't rule them out.
I just said stranglehold because it's all the noise has just been Jaguars
You're
taking it,
100%
Jaguars taking it. Like, this is the Jaguars. Like, the expectation is
take it easy.
Don't take it light. The expectations for the Jaguars is they would. People are going to be more shocked that they lose the division than win it comfortably. Comfortably. So, I got the Titans winning 10 games, man.
You got the Jags win the division though?
No.
Oh, you got the Titans win. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting stat. In terms of points scored, Jacksonville scored 404 points last year. That ranked 10th in the NFL. In terms of points allowed, 350, which ranked 12th. That's not that bad.
They give up yardage.
They do.
Yeah, that's my thing though.
As long as everybody's healthy for a good amount of year.
Offense, they ranked in terms of team grades for PFF, which I want everyone to know that's different from in terms of yardage. They ranked 21st. In terms of defense, they were 15th.
They're an average defense.
Yeah.
Maybe
you get
I'm talking about the Jaguars.
Breakout, though,
and really quick, I'm interested to see the Titans because again, these aren't the end all be all. It's just a quick overview for everyone. Defense, yes, 10th in terms of overall team grade for the Titans. In terms of offense,
didn't Landry miss some time last year?
For the Titans, yes.
Yeah, the Titans' offense last year was pretty terrible. In terms of points scored, they ranked 28th. In terms of points allowed, tied for 14th.
We here.
Yeah, they're similar. I think a lot of people are just hyping up the Jags because, like Joel mentioned, you have the number one pick, the generational prospect, and he had a mini breakout last year. So you
usually have the
back
biggest breakout in the
playoffs.
If Walker takes a leap in his development, which I'm assuming he will, because last year he was. I think
it's more of the playoff.
This year you want to see that.
They just came back from 27 down.
The Jaguars' strength is their defensive line. They get after the quarterback at a top 10 rate. It's just their pass defense. It's like the Titans.
It's literally
the
Titans.
They rank 28th against the pass. So that's why for me, the Jaguars, I think their offense is going to put up points, but I also don't trust their defense to hold opponents to a certain number. So I think they could be a team that's vulnerable to getting into shootouts, and that's how they'll lose games.
I also do wonder with the division if it's going to kind of skew their defensive ranking because you're going to be going up against the Colts and Houston, and we're talking preseason, of course, but we're not expecting either of those two teams to be prolific offensively. Listen, I respect Houston.
I didn't say anything.
I just see the look.
What about the Colts?
Listen, I'm an AR guy.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Dude, what? I respect CJ Stroud.
He's better than him.
Is he?
Yes.
Is he?
He's a better passer.
That's what you're a
He's
quarterback.
safer.
He's more accurate.
He's safer.
You're a quarterback.
Listen. I look at CJ Stroud. I think yes,
Also,
he's
I want you
safer.
to be
Josh
better.
Allen completes 62% of his passes.
Hey, yeah, messed our elbow.
All he's saying
You're
is you don't
before,
need
too.
to be.
Damn near
He's
every
saying you
year.
don't need to be this completion
No,
menace
Josh Allen
to be a dog,
Josh Allen can throw the football full field.
and so can
So
AR.
can AR.
No, but like effectively. You know what I'm saying?
How do we know? Like, come on, this guy's being unfair.
He had 38
You're being
touchdowns.
unfair.
Fuck you want me to do?
I'm talking about AR though. You're being unfair to
no,
AR.
when he said CJ's a better passer, I said, well, what the fuck is the job of a quarterback?
So you think the defense gets inflated by facing that competition?
No, I'm just saying in terms of statistics. Like I wonder, like the same way that we did it with Philadelphia, or the same way with the Niners, or one of those two teams
Our
where they
division's
face a
tough.
bunch of weak
I mean,
competition.
NFC,
When
yeah.
time was there for them to play strong offenses,
NFC
they
East
kind of
weak?
folded. That's the only. NFC is weak.
NFC East?
Not the NFC.
No,
East.
no.
Because we had a good year last
Well,
year.
no, for sure.
offensively, the Giants' offense really isn't
Yeah.
is not that crazy prolific.
Unfortunately.
Cowboys definitely is a good offense.
Washington.
Washington's terrible.
It's just they never have a quarterback. You know,
Never.
Never
Never have,
No,
never will.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's scary though. Scary is
No, but
scary.
that's really how I
They
look
had him
at
right
it.
over AJ Brown.
Ooh.
Madden.
Oh, they did. I'll
That
fix
was
it for you
nuts.
when I get in there.
Thank you.
I'll go to edit roster. I'll fix that for you, buddy. Don't
They
worry
had
about
AJ
that.
Brown really low.
Yeah,
They
bro.
did.
They had
90.
Garrett Wilson like at 83 too, bro. They
Yeah,
had
that's
Odell
nuts.
ranks
They-
over
the
him.
Madden
Fucking
rankings
lost
is
me.
very
Oh, they
odd.
got that. Huh?
Their rankings are definitely
You saw who was one though, right? We're here.
bad.
Jettis, yeah. Deserve it.
Yeah, we're here.
Deserve it.
But when is Tyreek going to be a 99, bro?
He doesn't need
What's
to
he,
be.
97?
He was 98.
98?
He's right there.
But he's not. You know what I mean? Like he's right there, but he's not.
No, he's not the number one. He can't be 99. He can't be two 99s at the same
It
position.
definitely could be.
As no, a wide
Do
receiver. No.
any positions have 2 99s? I don't think
Only
so.
quarterback ever did it. Wide
You say
receiver.
quarterback.
No.
Is that? So what's the difference?
Wide receiver.
Quarterback's more important position.
No, I agree with you, but
there's
there's
multiple
only one
99s.
number one as a wide receiver.
I'm gotten okay with there being only 199 each
It
position.
should be only one number
Like,
one.
like
Is there not
Devontae-
is there not only one number one X? There's only a one, right? There's like the little
What do you
what
mean?
you just said, the flanker X, and then
I don't
the
know what you
real
mean
X?
by that, but
Like,
I
number
think,
one wide receiver on the team. Like, is there the first number one and then there's a number two? The guy-
Yes.
exactly.
yes.
If you have Jettis and you have Reek, we know who's the number one and who's the number two. It's Jettis, the number one, and then you look him, and then he's not open.
I'm
But
not
I think
trying
the
to get
point
into
is
this
that
conversation.
I
It's
don't
just
think
gonna get
Jefferson
nasty.
clears
No, no, no.
Tyreek.
He does. That's
for-
why he's a
It's not
98.
98, yeah,
That's why he's a
it's-
No,
98.
I'm not. All I'm saying is they both should be 99.
So Tay should be a 99.
Tyreek starts
He
off
should
hot. He
be.
gets boosted to 99. Possible.
He's been rude
He
to
did-
him.
he
It
just
hasn't-
doesn't
he
get, like,
hasn't
the
gotten it.
cleats
He's
and
upset
shit.
over a point.
No,
It's-
but all I'm saying is why isn't he a 99?
because one guy's a 99 already.
Again, that logic is terrible because Tay was a 99 and so
He was the
is
only
DeAndre.
99.
That's not true. DeAndre Hopkins was a 99.
DeAndre Hopkins was not a 99.
Yes, he was. DeAndre Hopkins has been a 99.
Tell the guy who plays Madden.
Okay, do I not play Madden?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
This
Back
game's
in the
terrible.
day. Back in the day.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
terrible.
a long time ago. I don't even think Julio and AB were 99.
So
at the
DHop
same
was never
time.
99.
He was a
I don't think so. I
99.
think he was the most.
How
was
much you
like
want to
a
put on that?
97.
How much you want to put on that?
I don't think anything because I'm not that confident. In this
All right
answer.
then.
I'm sure
I'm
also
the
not
one
that
that plays Madden. I'm 100% sound. He was a 99.
You also just told me you don't play Madden.
Well, anymore because the game's mid.
We're about
They
to
need to
find
fix
out.
it. All
Because
right.
Joel's looking up.
All right.
I'm confident.
All right. What do you want to put on it then?
What
don't
is
wanna
this?
play.
DeAndre Hopkins?
DeAndre Hopkins.
I think he was in 97.
I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, he did in the NFL in 2021.
I apologize.
He's 99.
The
Call me daddy.
Hopkins joined in 99.
Who else was
club,
in 99 though? Was it two people or just one?
It was just one.
Like I said, there's always one,
Oh,
never
this guy
two.
just try to find a silver
And
lining.
he came
50-50.
into the 99 club again, so he was
Oh, okay.
a 99 the year
So
before.
twice.
That's fair, but
All
there was
right.
only one.
Oh no, there was two. It was Michael Thomas as well.
Oh, hey, Michael Thomas at 99.
Rightfully
yeah.
so. He just broke the record for receptions in a
Facts.
season.
Fell off.
Froze the 99,
Yeah,
but we're here.
it's all right,
It
all right.
was Michael Thomas. and D-Hop.
2021, he was a 99, and Tay wasn't.
So you mean to tell me them two
Impossible.
wasn't, but Julio and AB were never 99s at the same time?
You know how Madden is. You need
That's
you
insane,
need
though.
years under your belt. They still have Chase at like a 94.
Well, he only got 1 year.
The ratings
He's got
stink.
two.
The ratings stink.
Oh, remember he was hurt last year.
But he was amazing.
They had a K though. They
Only a K.
they're not
Like
gonna-
13 games,
A
right?
K is mid. They're not gonna give you a lot for a K. You know.
He's
So
disrespecting
getting
me.
into these super chats, Kill Moves goes. Hope y'all had a great weekend. I want
too,
y'all to
Kill
rank
Moves.
these teams in terms of what you look forward to or what entertains you the most for NFL and NBA draft, free agency, and trade deadline. Here's to a good pod.
Ooh. I think for NFL, the draft excites me the most. Free agency, because trade deadline is not a lot. So I'll go draft, free agency, deadline.
I like free agency,
This deadline was
draft,
pretty
and trade
late.
deadline.
For NFL,
Yeah.
it's definitely been more,
Yeah.
hectic these last couple years, but nothing compared to like the NBA.
I would have said deadline and training camp, but training camp isn't up here.
In NBA, it's probably drafts last for me in NBA. It's probably
Trade deadline might be one.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
It
Trade
might
deadline's
be.
a movie.
It depends on the free
Trade
agency
deadline's
class,
one,
you know?
NFL trade deadline, nothing cinematic usually happens.
Yeah.
But CMC getting traded last year.
That was
fucking
lit.
nuts.
That was, yeah.
That was a big move.
There
But
we
that
go.
was like the first time it happened in a while
I was going to say,
that a player's gotten traded.
one of the last big trades that we seen at the deadline was, I think, like Carson Palmer got traded. Was Robert Quinn traded this
Was Jimmy
season
Graham
too?
a trade deadline, or was
Yo,
that during
I
the
don't
offseason?
know. No, it's for the Seattle
Yeah,
to
to Seattle.
That was off season.
That was
It was
off
off-season.
season.
Mhm.
We traded for Jay Ajayi, Super Bowl. Never forget.
It's a Dolphin legend.
That is a Dolphin
We
legend.
traded for James Robinson.
That was
Jets.
Sweet.
Tragic, honestly.
Big O go. Shout out Kenny Pickett.
Shout
I
out.
remember what y'all said about my team last episode. May have not been bad, but it wasn't hype either.
Wasn't
I
here for
was
that.
respecting the shit out
I
of the
gave him
Steelers.
9 wins. I was a little bit rude on my way to 9 wins, but I gave him the 9.
You really are the most disrespectful here to the Steelers.
I got to give him their 9. I got to give Tom the respect.
Dread goes, I asked Riv during Summer League, but how many overall sports teams do you guys support?
Well,
One.
Riv's got 20 overall sports teams.
Oh,
I don't have
apologize.
20 yet. Oh no. I'm not-
NBA plus NFL.
No, I don't think I'm at 20 yet. I think I'm at 17.
I'm gonna throw up.
The NBA for me,
Eagles, Bills.
it's
Bears.
Browns.
No, agenda. That's it.
Cardinals.
Ah, fuck. 18.
Bro, the Browns count. You're definitely fucking.
No,
with
I'm
the
not a Browns fan. I'm an agenda because after this year, it's cooked.
But
Those
you're
are
a
the four.
Cardinals fan, not an
for
agenda.
sure.
Okay.
Kyler.
Okay.
My guy,
okay.
man.
The legend.
You fell off.
No, I didn't.
You don't be on.
I
the-
have his jersey. You don't.
I don't do jerseys. You don't be on the Arizona
This
way.
guy does
bro.
do jersey. He has a Wiggins jersey.
Somebody bought it
Curry
from me.
jersey.
Somebody bought it from me.
Someone bought me the Kyler jersey.
Oh, see, I thought you bought it. So
No.
Yeah, I don't usually get jerseys, but you're not on the Arizona wave like me, man.
I mean, bro, they're terrible. Why
Why
would
would you want to be on
The
the
worst
wave?
team in the league.
Jets fans.
What do you mean? We're going to be better than we were better than last
Say
year.
we're gonna be better than the
think
Cardinals.
so?
I can guarantee you that.
You
Nah, I
so?
think pretty easily.
You want to do a Cardinals Jets bet?
We did it last year. We actually did one last year.
Did you?
Yeah.
I
We
don't
did one
remember
last
that.
year.
I got kind of played.
And Zach
'cause Kyler
Wilson
got hurt.
starting the season off 5-2. Won me that bet,
Oh,
baby.
facts.
Yeah.
That was with him, with me.
No, that was with you.
It was with me.
Yeah, that was with you.
Kylie got hurt.
He probably didn't pay you.
Oh,
No, I think he did.
I did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I
Wow.
reminded him about it. Yeah.
You gotta
And then when
remind
the
me.
time came for me to pay up to him for the bet we made about the Bulls and Wizards, I came back with the Hawks bet we had 2 years ago. Like
That's because
we're
he
even
never
now.
reminded me about the Hawks and he. We actually forgot about that shit.
It's on the board.
No,
Where's
no.
the
No,
board?
not that one.
Oh,
That we wrote that down. That's why we remembered that one.
When it comes to the NFL, I think I'm the river of the NFL. I support a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's actually scary what you do.
Because I
I
love
support poverty.
I
teams in the
love
NBA.
NFL teams. I just love teams so much. Like the Jets, I support.
Bengals,
The Bengals, I support.
Chiefs.
All right, listen, we should preface by this, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here. Joel's a Jets fan. The rest of these teams he supports.
Yeah, I know.
No, you said support, and also said I support this team.
He
I support
admitted he's a fan.
Nah, he lost me.
And then Drew tries to save him. Wow.
I'm doing him a favor.
I
I, also
so-
do
I
you
think
a favor.
support
Yeah.
and fan is
Bro,
kind of
you
synonymous.
just lose me with the fact that you're
I'm telling you the
allegedly
truth.
a Bulls fan,
I'm a
but
Bulls
you're
fan.
no, you're not. You're a Warriors fan.
barely.
You're a Warriors fan.
What the hell?
You're a Warriors
I'm a
fan.
Bulls fan. How many
Wait.
games did you watch?
Of what?
I suffered.
Of what?
I suffered.
Yeah, I understand that, but bro, you put it on the hierarchy, and the Bulls weren't even top 3.
They were top 3. Look at my list. Go look at my list right now. They were
My
top 3.
God, this guy's gonna make me throw
They
up
were
on
top
air.
3. He just
Isn't that
admitted-
synonymous though? I think supporting a team means that you're a fan of them, even at a bottom.
Well, that's what
level
I'm
you are.
saying.
Nah.
Because I'm a fan of Joe Burrow. I don't just support him. I'm a fan of him.
Mhm.
And
I mean,
as long
it's
as he's on the
players.
Bengals,
It's
I'm,
play.
I'm
If
No,
he
but
leaves
I'm
the
a fan of
Bengals, though, you're not.
But I
rocking
think
the
you can
Bengals.
No,
support-
but quarterbacks often don't
Yeah,
leave.
not fast.
You support the team though.
Yeah,
Well,
because
you
I
have
want the
to.
team to do
Yeah.
well.
You can support a quarterback. Like I support the Eagles. I wasn't supporting Jalen Hurts though. I was just kind of like
You're a
he's
fraud.
there. No, it's just you can
Lost
really
me.
you can you can split the ways.
It was
But
up for
especially
me-
as like your team not supporting. I was supporting Zach Wilson.
No, he wasn't.
I was in the offseason.
In the offseason, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I
He
mean, I
was
got off the
hesitant.
train, but
yeah,
yeah,
like,
about
about week 3, you were like,
ah.
I'm just watching. to see
He
what
tried to
comes
buy
out.
in. If you would have bought in, I think things would have turned out a little bit differently.
You think so?
It was your
I bought in
hesitancy
as
that
about,
He's blaming
I
you
bought
for
in
Zach
about as
Williams.
long as I could with Zach. I really tried.
But it's the Jets, Bengals,
Chiefs.
the
don't forget.
Chiefs.
So gross. Bengals and Chiefs is
I
so
support
nuts.
the Chargers too.
Can we?
I like
Can we?
Chargers.
Can
We
we?
got all the elite
Can you
quarterbacks.
pick a side on Bengals Chiefs? You can't root for both. They're
He
the
will-
biggest rival in sports
you're a
in
Cowboys
the
guy, too.
NFL right now.
You're
The
a Cowboys guy.
Vikings, the
Cowboys.
Vikings. I like the Cowboys.
I know.
I do.
Are the Chiefs and Bengals not the biggest
You
rivalry in
guys
the
call me
NFL
back?
right now?
Could
True.
be.
So
support
you
poverty
can't
teams.
root for both,
Oh,
bro.
he's
Why not?
too
You
much.
can't.
Why?
Dehls,
Because
who's
it's a
worse, me or
rivalry.
Joel? I
You don't
support the
make the
Pistons, bro.
rules.
Yeah,
It's the Pistons,
But
bro.
no, the fact that you support both is insane.
You don't make the rules, man.
I don't give a fuck who makes the rules.
And it's not my team is the Jets, but I like the
No,
Bengals and the
you
Chiefs.
might be a Chiefs fan for sure.
Until those teams face each other, then I take my unbiased hat
You
off
don't know.
and I make predictions. And that's why last season in the playoffs, I had the Chiefs winning. That was the unbiased glasses coming off.
But you also did say if the Bengals win, you would be ecstatic either way.
Of course you would.
Yeah, I'd be happy for either player, for Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. Either of them win, I'm happy with it.
Man?
I think I have the least teams here. It's the Celtics in the NBA, Jets, Ravens, Eagles.
There was
in
a
the
time
NFL.
I supported the 49ers
welcome
when
to
Alex
welcome
Smith
to my
was the
town,
quarterback.
man.
When Alex Smith was the quarterback for the Niners, I
And the
supported
Mets.
them.
And the Mets.
And that's why I transitioned my support to the Chiefs when Alex Smith went there as well.
He's
Okay.
blatantly
like
lying to
Alex
you guys.
Smith.
All right.
I've always been a big Alex
He's
Smith
lying.
fan.
First time I heard
He's
this story.
lying.
Alex
This is
Smith's
a
the
new
first time
story.
I heard
It's like
this.
that time we heard about that the New Jersey Nets story just randomly just to be a Brooklyn Nets fan. It's insane how you. Just
I've always
came up
liked
with that.
Alex Smith, bro.
Really?
I've always liked
And then
Alex
I
Smith
just
before.
News
veered
to me.
into the.
Do you have an Alex Smith tweet?
I probably do. I can check it.
Oh my!
My
God.
Twitter's not that
I would say,
old.
does it go that back?
No,
That's
Are you
Twitter's
why
not
also
that
a
old.
Mets fan or are you?
I don't follow baseball. I don't really care. I just say I'm
You
a
shouldn't.
Mets
They
fan or
should
whatever.
I think you and I are pretty close.
That's facts.
I have the Lakers. Football.
You have the Magic.
It's the Broncos. I guess. I just love the Magic in terms of
You have the
just the
Raptors.
community. Don't do that to me. That's
Why?
agenda.
Pacers?
I was wrong. If you're not counting the Browns, then we're not counting any.
Now
of these
you were
teams.
riding the Raptors for like a couple years though.
No, I wasn't.
Browns was like 4 months.
Raptors was a calm.
No,
year
Raptors
too.
was an agenda. I was
It
wrong.
was for 2 years.
I guess it
though.
was Scotty.
Yeah, and I had to be wrong about that.
No, it was the Raptors. Then Scotty.
Was it?
He liked the Raptors
Before
team,
Scotty got
and
there?
then no, it was Scotty was there, but he liked the Raptors team.
Mm.
Then the next year was like
Yeah,
Scotty.
but they played no bench players and were a top 5
he
seed.
was extremely,
True.
yeah, he was excited.
That's
and then the next
fire.
year it was Scotty, and then it was like,
and then they almost
yeah.
pulled a comeback after being down 3-0.
Yeah,
It was
facts,
lit.
facts.
But yeah, it's the Lakers for sure. Football, it's the Broncos. I love Tua, so by association, it's
Lions?
Miami. Lions is really a TBD, man. I fuck with the Lions a lot, but really, it's Miami of teams that are not the Broncos. It's Miami, the Giants. The Lions are the fringe team. They're closer to being on the list than not, to be
So
honest.
you probably
with
beat them
you.
by one team.
Yeah, and then the Yankees are well. I fuck with soccer. Well, let me just not say. I like soccer. Yes, I respect it. But I care about Arsenal more than I care about anything else.
If we're adding baseball, I'm at 20. Pros in Miami. Yeah, I'm at 20.
And then my Liberty. Y'all gotta hop on, man.
I watched the game. Live.
Bro, we're lit.
It's actually
Did
fun.
you guys see Sabrina at the 3-point
I did see
competition?
that.
Only
That shit
missed
was- that
2
was OG.
shots.
So this is the tweet I found about Alex Smith
I
in
knew you
This
had
guy
that.
just
2021.
doesn't care about conversation. It's okay.
Two legends. Thank you for everything, Alex Smith. Incredible career, incredible comeback, incredible person.
Yo, what?
Told you, I've been a big Alex Smith guy.
Oh my god!
How can you not root for Alex Smith, man?
It's
You
hard.
have to. Yeah, you have to.
It's hard not to.
After what he's been through, man. I saw the documentary, brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh, tears to
pretty
my eyes.
graphic
Gruesome,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, gruesome's a great word.
Anthony Saldana goes, "Who's the best at 2K, Madden, and the show?" So I think at 2K, I'm easily the best here.
You
No
did.
shot.
You did beat,
Dehls.
you beat me once.
Yeah, I
You
beat
beat me
never
Dehls.
played me.
Riv has been too scared to play me
My P5
since
broke.
beginning of the time. Since beginning of time.
facts.
My P5 broke, bro. I've been in pain for like 2 months.
Madden, I don't know who's better at Madden.
I beat you at Madden.
Madden,
I got him in Madden.
It was
um,
close games though.
The show, I've
Defenses-
never. I've
just-
met
I
anybody
just
in the
don't-
show.
I just like playing by myself.
Oh, I bet. That being said, at the show,
Son of a
if you
scam.
guys don't really play, the show, I mean, you guys don't really play. I play like a fucking crack fiend. I play it all the time. Madden, until 2K gets simulation rights, bro, I'm not buying or playing another Madden. Madden is just rinse and repeat. They literally do the same exact thing. Now you can do a jump throw where you're falling to the ground.
that
You
shit
can
looks
fucking
insane.
chuck it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I will be trying to
game
do that
gets
every
worse and
single
worse.
play.
That would blow my mind.
I
It
am
should
begging.
only be Mahomes doing that.
Respectfully.
I'm begging.
Every quarterback
It should
should
happen
do that,
like
though.
once every 10 games too.
I'm on my hands and knees praying for NFL Street.
That'd be
Until
tough.
that happens, I'm
I
not
mean,
playing
Madden's
another
usually
football
good the
game
first 3
either.
months. Then it gets dead after that.
Yeah, it's fun to do like a fancy job with your friends, and then play 2 weeks and never touch it again.
I play FIFA a lot.
FIFA fell
They're-
off.
I've been
so
playing
they-
it a lot,
So they're
too.
changing FIFA to FC because they didn't like renew the
Oh,
rights with
they always
FIFA,
do
so it's
this.
called
They do-
FC 24
They
next
do
year.
too much.
You know, Messi's debut is this Friday
Is it?
for Inter Miami. Yeah.
Tough.
oh,
Bro,
he's playing
yeah.
in America.
They had like an event
Wow.
to introduce him to the club. It was fire.
He about to break every record.
He's about to be by far and away the best MLS player of all time.
Must have been the money, because no way you're coming to play in America.
Definitely the
No,
money.
but he's also at this point in time. It's like
So much
he's
bread.
accomplished
Well,
everything.
he turned down $1 billion from fucking Saudi Arabia.
I wouldn't go there either.
Come to
No
America. You already know that the media is about to be amazing.
And he's in Miami.
Santos goes,
Miami.
wear the tour shirt, Joel. I
It
will.
doesn't be special. We got it planned
AFC,
already.
Yeah.
We got it
let's
planned
just-
already.
Let's keep it hush.
Yeah,
You'll
agreed.
see when I wear it.
Exactly.
So Messi actually has an agreement with Apple TV that all the revenue Apple TV gets from the MLS soccer games, Messi gets a chip of that.
That's
He gets
insane.
a
Bro,
piece of the
he's
pie.
about to be a quadrillionaire.
Yeah.
But you know that he's joining. I didn't know this before I actually dig deep into it, but Messi's joining the worst team in the MLS.
Oh, he about
Like,
to turn him into,
Inter Miami
They
is
suck.
bottom of the bottom.
bro about to
Like,
turn
they're
him into
bad.
contenders.
They're horrible.
I fuck with it. I fuck with that vibe.
That was like when NYCFC first came into MLS. Their best player was David Villa, and they were. And let me say, not they. He was unfucking believable. David Villa played for Spain, played for Barcelona. He's like one of the
Does
better.
David Beckham still play soccer?
No. He also, that was a huge deal at the time too. 10 years, 250 million. I think it was the richest contract in sports history when he went and signed
that
with LA
time?
Galaxy. Yeah. And then A-Rod broke that with his 10-year, 300 million.
I feel like Jaylen Brown just broke that.
Jaylen Brown will have the richest contract in NBA. The richest contract in sports is Patrick Mahomes.
You got 500.
Oh, wait, let me not say
No.
in sports because I think Ronaldo's deal over in
Oh,
Saudi,
Saudi
is
Arabia, he
number
got
one.
billed.
If I'm not
yeah.
mistaken, I
On
think
a
David
per year
Beckham
basis,
owns Inter
though.
Miami.
Does he?
Yeah. And
Jaylen
he was
Brown
a
about to
big
get
part of
5
the
years,
recruitment
three and
for
some
Messi.
change?
Yeah. Something like that.
Jalen Brown's going to have the number one contract in the NBA.
That's
Oh,
usually how it
for a
goes.
year.
Somebody will
Yeah.
break it.
Facts.
So
Hopefully. You're
Smitty
praying for
who
it.
goes,
That'll happen.
young goats, keep up this great podcast. Where do you guys rank Larry Bird all time?
He's
Dehls,
for
what do you
sure.
think, man?
I've never really done a top fucking
That was
like
on
10
no
list.
shit, man.
Top 6, top 5 type shit.
Top six,
That was naming
That's
5
per-
players from the 80s.
you could do that.
Outside the
MJ,
big ones. I knew you were
Pippen,
gonna do
Larry,
that.
Body.
Steve Kerr, Rodman.
You named. That's odd to name Steve.
I had the Bulls in my head, you know.
I have Larry Bird at 6. He's number
Yeah.
6 for me.
Larry Bird like top 8 for me for sure.
Top 8.
Yeah, like top 8, top 9.
If someone came to you and said, "Yo, he's better than Magic,"
Not a bad take.
They're I feel like they're always neck and neck when people do their rankings.
as a Laker truther, I could never openly come out here on a microphone and say that, but
Lakers truth is insane.
Lakers truther is.
that's what I do. I come here and I tell the truth.
I feel like to be a Lakers truther, you had to be in there for like 5-6 years, like grind.
I just
time
had to
work.
say 5-6 years because I've been here for 4, and it's gonna be my
Actually,
fifth
have
season.
you been there for 4? I
Yeah.
actually did not know that.
Yeah.
That was just 5 was just
2019, bro.
Right.
5's this upcoming season.
Sorry, buddy. You got
5
one
year
more year.
anniversary. It's all right.
Zach Preeb goes, Drew, do you believe Finns are a lock to win the East? I believe they are. And
Lock.
Tua is winning MVP.
There it is.
Tyreek Hill is the best wide receiver in the NFL, and he will stamp it this season.
Here's my thing. If I believe that Tua Tagovailoa will be the MVP of the National Football League, that's going to go hand in hand with him having to win the division. So you know what? Fuck it. Stamp it. They're winning the division.
You don't believe
Here we go.
Crickets.
I do think that people are giving the Dolphins
They're underrating
enough,
them.
not enough of a chance to win a division.
Agreed.
I think that it's the Jets and the Bills.
A
And
lot of
their
glazing of the
team-
Buffalo Bills and
Really?
the New York Jets.
3
I
teams
feel
have
like
a
the
legit
Jets are
chance.
getting the most love out of everyone.
Yeah.
3 teams have a legit chance to
Deservedly
win that
so.
division.
Listen,
Yeah.
you guys deserve love. Your
No, for
defense
sure.
is cracked.
For sure, but I think all 3 of those teams have a real chance.
Yeah, I think all 3 of those teams in other divisions would be the best team in that division. I think the AFC East is just one of the toughest divisions in football.
And honestly, people sleep on the Patriots. They'll be a 500
Oh.
team this year.
And the AFC, only in the AFC South, I think. They're
South is
Probably
tough.
the
That's
best.
3 teams again. That's tough.
You're right.
I
Only
say
the
the
AFC
West, Mahomes got it.
NFC
the North,
outside
sorry?
of the NFC West and East.
Yeah.
West who?
Mahomes.
It's good
They're
teams
on
in
the
there
Broncos,
though.
man.
Okay.
You
Fucking
might
wait on
finish
it.
3rd.
Who?
Your team in the division. Chargers.
We'll see
They
about
can
that.
finish ahead of you.
Santos said, "Put your money,
Yeah, I
With your
saw
mouth
this.
dance.
$200 fucking absurd.
$200 bet."
Like, bro,
And
he's
Tua
saying,
wins
yeah,
MVP.
all right,
Put
he
that
has to
200
pick someone.
on fucking,
He has to pick
on
someone.
a sports book and plus
That's what I'm
2,000 odds
saying.
or something.
Yeah, that's what I would do. He has to pick someone. I'm not just gonna make a $200 bet for
field?
him to
Yeah,
get the
that's
field.
insane.
Like,
Yeah,
what
the
do I
field
look
is
like?
fucked up.
So yeah, Santos, revise it.
What if it was a $200 bet? Tua wins MVP though. You win 1,000. He doesn't. He gets the 200
That's actually kind of bad.
Listen,
because you need
he
the.
pays me
you know what I mean?
If
$1,000.
you're betting
I'll
against
shake
the
on it right
field,
now.
betting against
That's
the
why
field,
you
Give
get
me
a little
5.
something there.
You probably get more
5
from
times
Vegas,
odds.
though.
You 1,000%.
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that
If I'm putting 200,
Yes.
Kidding
he's
me?
probably
They're
like
getting
plus
more.
4,500. He probably has like
we'll
I
see.
think he's like 2,000.
We'll see as the season approaches if I decide to put an egregious bet on Tua winning MVP. It's
Gotta
gonna
get
be
that
like
week one,
it'll be like
brother.
week 6. He's leading the league in yards and touchdowns. He's thrown maybe like 1 interception. Cash out.
Wait till he plays the
That's
Jets.
gonna happen if the defensive backs drop interceptions again like they did last year. So it's a possibility. Anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
Screaming.
Like Madden 2010, you throw right into the defenders, they just drop it.
Kind of like when
Doesn't
Mahomes
happen no
had
more.
like the
There we
what
go.
was it, 2 interception season, and he led the league in dropped
And-
interceptions.
yeah.
Remember that?
Nah.
That was
Yo, Madden
something.
was nuts. You used to drop open picks like early in the days, like Madden 10, 11.
But then,
like,
ironically, bro, they made middle linebackers.
Oh, yeah, now
Just
they're-
jump 10 feet.
Yeah.
Wide
Yeah,
receivers.
bro.
they jump with their one hand. It's
Now,
crazy.
Bobby Wagner in like Madden 16, 17 was probably the best player I've ever used on a defense.
One of the better linebackers I've used in Madden right now, currently, in the past couple of years, has been Kamu Gruger Hill. He has like a 91 speed.
was
Plays
gonna
for
say,
a
for
speed
linebacker.
has
is he
to be dumb.
Texans?
He is on the Texans. Yeah.
Shit,
He's
Drew.
probably not
Kidding
on
me?
the team no more, but he's
Uh-huh.
bounced around from team to team. But his speed he's very fast. So it's easy to use him and get a
That's all
ton
you
of
need.
interceptions.
If you have a user in Madden, just get the fastest guy. The overall really
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Be 65.
That's why when I was the
99
Jets, I
speed.
used Ashton Davis.
You're a freak for
Ashton
that.
Davis got the 94 speed.
Yeah.
He's fast.
We've done one topic.
We got to read super chats. People donating. We got to do super chats.
Here we go. Hour and a half in and out.
Dude, we still have more. No,
We
We
sure
have
do.
more.
I think we do.
Zach Preby said, Joel, you can pay me for our time bets now, bro.
Yep. You guys have a bet?
I made a Titans bet with them. I forgot what it was. They're going to win like 8 games or something, or they're going to be a 500 team. I think that's the bet I made with him.
For this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're going to be a 500 team. So I'm counting on the Titans to win 9 games.
All right.
I'm making that bet in Vegas too.
All
It's
right.
the best time to make those type of bets.
Santos, this is terrible odds.
Like, bro, he's
$100.
losing
Like,
me.
what are we doing here?
Santos, you're
He
trying to
dropped it.
finesse
You'd
me.
be a terrible bookie.
He dropped it
Terrible.
$100.
The
Santos is
state
funny.
of the running back position is in a sad place if you're a fan of running backs, because after Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing, Saquon finished 4th, and Tony Pollard finished 16th, mostly due to Zeke still getting a boatload of carries while obviously being a shell of himself. Neither of these players have gotten extended. All teams chose to not extend them, and they will be playing on the franchise tag. What I think is eye-opening about all this is that a team in the Cowboys who not too long ago paid Zeke, was it 6 years, 90 million,
It was.
Stupid bag.
are refusing to pay a running back that, he's a Pro Bowl running back.
Gotta learn from your
Last year, he was a
mistakes.
great running back. They're choosing not to pay a running back because, like all other 31 other NFL teams, they are realizing that paying running backs is a mistake. These are the highest running back contracts in recent history. CMC, 4 years, 64 million. Zeke, 6 years, 90 million. Le'Veon Bell, 4 years, 52.5 million. Todd Gurley, 4 years, 60 million. Dalvin Cook, 5 years, 63 million. Outside of CMC, who was traded, all of these running backs were cut during the duration of their deal. And the last 9 leading rushers for the Super Bowl winning team have made less than 2 million. I don't think this is an issue of inequality. Like everybody's talking about how it's not fair that the running back position isn't being compensated. I think it's about supply and demand. The reason why quarterbacks get paid the most money is because the demand for them is high and the supply is very low for getting a top echelon guy. When it comes to running backs, they're a dime a dozen. You might have a demand for it, but the supply is so grand that you can find a 7th round pick in Pacheco and you don't need to pay Zeke 90 million over 6 years. You can find a great running back anywhere. And I think that's the issue we're running into right now. Should these great players get paid? They should. But I think right now it's an issue of maybe adjusting how many years they are under contract for their initial rookie deal, and also maybe just heavily incentivizing their contracts. So if they hit certain milestones, they can be paid accordingly. But at this point, I do agree with the side that running backs are just the most replaceable position in football. And that's why we're seeing teams opt to not pay the Saquons of the world, the Josh Jacobs, or the Tony Pollards.
And not only are they replaceable, but you see the fall offs these guys have, right? Some of it's not their fault. You look at a guy like Todd Gurley, who had, degenerate knee and knee issues that caused his career to go from the best running back in football to 2 years later out of the league. Le'Veon Bell, whether it was scheme, fit, taking a year of football, he declined drastically. Zeke declined drastically. So I think a lot of these teams are seeing that what's the point of giving these guys this money that we know a year or two into the contract, they're going to fall off. And if you look at specifically these three guys who this season, Saquon, Pollard, Jacobs, all of these situations, for one, Saquon, this current front office, Joe Shane, Brian Dable, did not draft Saquon number 2 overall. That was Dave Gettleman who made that selection. There was, a lot of controversy around the time because they were thinking about even Darnold. I know there was quarterbacks available, but they went with Saquon, who was probably the most talented player in the draft, but everyone's saying it's a running back. Do you take them number 2 overall? So when Joe Shane came into here and he ran the show and he's the GM, he's kind of picking up the pieces of Dave Gettleman. He wasn't the one who selected Saquon Barkley. He wasn't the one who kind of had this weight on him to extend him, even though Saquon obviously improves this team. I don't think there's any fan out there who's going to look at the Giants and say they're going to be better off without Saquon Barkley. And I think it goes into the fact that when you have a quarterback who Pacheco works on the Chiefs because you have Patrick Mahomes, right? If you put Pacheco on the Giants, I don't think he's giving you that same production and really opening up that offense that Saquon does. And when you pay Daniel Jones $40 million, you want that money to be worth it. So I think getting the most talent around him is the obvious thing to do. And when you hear reports saying that the Giants and Saquon were only $1 million or $2 million apart, it makes me wonder why they just didn't come to that agreement. Because we know the Giants, they're ready to win now, whether we think they're contenders or not. You don't pay a quarterback $40 million and say we're rebuilding, right? So the fact that they didn't pay Saquon when there was that little of a disagreement was surprising to me. And for the other guys, Tony Pollard's coming off a broken leg, and he's never been a workhorse running back. So I'm not surprised the Cowboys are saying, let's give you a year, see what you do, and we could think about it down the road. And for Josh Jacobs, it's another Saquon situation where it's a different front office who didn't draft Josh Jacobs. So when you have a lot of these front offices and coaching staffs turn over year after year, it's hard to have that continuity because when you draft a guy in the first round, you're putting that stamp on them saying, this is my guy. I picked him. We think you could be a franchise cornerstone. But when a new front office comes in, they don't have the same attachment to players. So they don't feel obligated to pay them that big money. And like Joel said, you go through that list of all the running backs who got paid, CMC is really still the only one that's worth it. And that's because the Niners, number one, they're the ones paying them now, right? And not the Panthers, because the Panthers aren't ready to compete. Just like the Raiders with Josh Jacobs aren't ready to compete. The Niners looked at CMC. We had this debate when the trade went down that this might be the missing piece that gets us over the hump. This might be the piece that Jimmy G at the time needs to be able to, extend plays, pick up those first downs, convert third downs. So I think it's a mix of roster construction where if you're not competing like the Raiders, there's no sense to extend a running back, and also just the front office. And if you didn't draft the guy, there's not that same attachment level than if you were the GM who drafted him.
You want to go, Riv?
Yeah, I'll go. A lot of what Dehls says makes sense. I think it's really a case-by-case scenario. Because I think if you look at the teams that's won the Super Bowl, like the Eagles, the Niners, before CMC got there, they went to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, they didn't really have a high-powered running back. They didn't have an elite running back. They had a committee, especially with the Eagles. Like, we have a committee of running backs that are just 6th-round picks, 5th-round picks, underground running backs that we just slot in, slot out, and they do good work. Same thing with the Chiefs. They had a committee. Same thing with the Niners. They had Raheem Mostert. He wasn't no prime time name. They had a committee. Even other teams. Like, I think it's a case-by-case scenario. And although there is some elite running backs in the league and they deserve to get paid, you have to look at the situation like Dehls said. I think for the Giants, though, that's like a 50-50 thing because I feel like paying Daniel Jones $40 million but not paying the guy who really was the charge of your playoff push is kind of insane. I think if you want to stay competitive, you want to be a playoff team, Saquon earned the money rightfully so. Like, he was the reason you got to the playoffs. He was the reason you guys were competitive for the most part this year. He helped Daniel Jones. He's the guy who deserved that money. So he should have got paid, no questions asked. For these other guys, I get it. Like Josh Jacobs, the team isn't ready to compete. Do you want to put that money into him when you're not ready to compete? Tony Pollard has always been behind Zeke, so he's never been a full starting running back, and then he's coming off an injury. So running backs is honestly, you can replace them at any moment as long as you have an elite offensive line, you have a great quarterback. You can put a running back in that scheme that can do the little things, that can catch the ball, that can get 3 to 4 yards consistently. If you can just get a mid to good level running back, you can always fix that mistake. So unfortunately, that's just how the position is. I don't see how that's going to change outside of the few guys like CMC, who CMC got traded to a perfect situation. So he was able to make up for that money and be elite with the 49ers. Other running backs can't do that. We don't have APs of the world who can just single-handedly backpack an offense to the playoffs, go 2,000 yards. We don't have Derrick Henrys. There's few and rare running backs that can do that, and there's few and rare running backs that can earn that money.
This is a difficult topic for me because I've been so known to be pro running back and believing in the talent, and that does go and coincide with my love for fantasy football. However, taking that aside and trying to just talk about this strictly in the NFL sense, I understand where you guys are coming from, but we're talking about the number 1 leading rusher last year, number 4 leading rusher last season, and the 11th leading rusher last season, who was really one of the primary catalysts to the offense. All of them really were essential pieces. You probably look at Josh Jacobs, maybe Devontae Adams was the more essential piece to that offense. But number 1 in the league, you simply can't gloss over that. Saquon Barkley was the most important piece on that New York Giants offense. I can talk all that I want about Daniel Jones. Of course, he's the leader at the helm. He did a lot of his own that was great in terms of rushing the football also, but Saquon Barkley, of course, is number 1 that I look at on that offense. And then Tony Pollard, you have CeeDee Lamb, you have Dak Prescott, but the versatility that Tony Pollard provides you on top of getting limited carries to still be 11th in the league is a testament to how great Tony Pollard is. The Cowboys are learning from their past mistakes. And Ezekiel Elliott, I'm talking as someone who is one of my favorite football players that I've seen in my lifetime. And the fact that I can sit here and say that the Cowboys are learning from their mistakes because that contract had, for lack of a better term, burned them. Even though they're still a respectable team, they have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. But in terms of how his production has diminished from season to season, that's where you look at it and say it burned them. So they're trying to learn from their past mistakes in terms of Tony Pollard. But Tony Pollard also is coming off an injury that we did see in the playoffs. So there could be a little caution there. Hey, prove it 1 year. Show me that you are 100% healthy, and then we'll work on an extension. Another thing that I want to talk about in terms of contracts. Now, I want to credit, of course, Jeff Darlington, who did tweet this out. The franchise tag in 2015 for a quarterback was $18.5 million. Now it's $32.4. The wide receiver franchise tag in 2015 was $12.8. It is now almost $20 million. The running back tag in 2015 was $10.9. It's now $10.1. It's less than it was almost 10 years ago. So it's gotten to a point where the running backs, it's being known league-wide that the running back position is the most replaceable. And you mentioned it. You tweeted it out. Joel V. Moran, give him a follow. Of all the champions of recent memory that have won a Super Bowl with running backs that are making, I think the most expensive player that led their team in rushing in their game was $2.8 million, and he wasn't even a running back. It was a receiver. It was Percy Harvin for the Seattle Seahawks. It just goes to show you that, yes, rushing is integral in the NFL for sure, but it does not hold king over passing. The quarterbacks rightfully make their money. And with quarterbacks comes receivers, because that's the next up in the hierarchy of who deserves the most amount of money next after quarterbacks. Running backs definitely are important, no doubt about it. And I feel like a lot of people do view this from a fantasy football aspect. And listen, I'm guilty of that too. But I have to take a step back and realize that a lot of these teams that are having success are with teams that are not paying top dollar to these running backs. It doesn't take away from how talented these guys are. These are the premier athletes of the world. Forget about just the NFL. These are amazing athletes. Saquon Barkley is one of the best athletes. Josh Jacobs really solidified himself as one of the best running backs in the game last season. More underrated for a couple of years, but last year really solidified himself. Tony Pollard, you've been talking about it for a couple of years, one of the more underappreciated running backs in the game. These guys are legit. Football players are some of the best athletes there are. It does not take away from that. It's just a matter of there needs to be a better way to construct these contracts with these running backs. It's what they're doing really, and I'm sorry I'm talking a lot here, and I'll move on really fast, but what they're doing with their rookie deals is they're abusing them. They're abusing these rookie contracts and running these running backs into the ground. And then at this point in time, they realize, hey, they're used goods. We don't need that anymore. We'll move on. The only thing that I could really think of that would maybe benefit running backs, and this can't happen for some time. I think you were telling me the CBA isn't like going to be renewed until 2020. There you go. So the only thing that comes to mind is on a rookie contract, if you are a running back, you sign a 2-year deal. And maybe that might not be beneficial for some teams because, of course, they're trying to take advantage as much as they can with salary cap being as important as it is in the NFL. But that's the only quote-unquote fair thing I could think about for running backs. You sign them for a 2-year rookie deal. If you're like that, you get an extension for that 4 years, while you're still in your prime, while you're not being overutilized. And that way we don't look at these contracts and think that these teams made terrible mistakes. I mean, you look at the very few that really have been beneficial for their team. Derrick Henry, of course, you mentioned it, CMC, but he was traded. I think of names like Nick Chubb, who's still on their team, but he was, of course, on a team-friendly deal. Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon was able to go to a Super Bowl with him being given an extension as well. Aaron Jones is one of those that I look at and think that he obviously has performed very well, but the way that things have turned out now and in hindsight, are we looking at that signing as a great deal? Like, there, of course, we're going to look at it in history. There's going to be moments that you can pick and choose from, but there's just so much overwhelming information to go opposite of that it's hard to really stand where the running backs you can win while still paying them top dollar. It really hasn't been the case.
The biggest thing that's affecting this is just the evolution of football becoming more pass heavy.
For sure.
You're no longer using the run to set up the pass. You're passing the ball to set up the run. I look back to this 1999 trade, Ricky Williams, running back, a trade between the Saints and the Washington Commanders. The Saints traded, I think, a boatload of
I think it was a whole
their
draft
first
class.
round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, fifth round pick, their entire draft class to get this running back.
You should just mention the Herschel Walker trade.
Herschel Walker trade was another big one.
Built an entire dynasty in Dallas.
Like, running backs used to be prioritized so much that teams are trading up for them and giving away multiple valuable assets to get these guys. And now it's not the case. We only see those type of trades for quarterbacks. Maybe it's just the trend, but the recent running back contracts is the reason why we're at the stalemate we are now, because Todd Gurley got his contract and just fell off a cliff. His knees gave out and he just wasn't the same.
It's the hardest conversation to have with Todd Gurley because he's our generation's Bo Jackson. Of course, Bo Jackson's the better athlete, multi-sport athlete. But I think about it in terms of how dominant Todd Gurley was. Really just, there was no one on his level. And then suddenly his knees just break down. He's nowhere near the player that he was. It really does break my heart because I understand where you're coming from, but it really was one of those things that it was out of his control.
And Ezekiel Elliott, who they signed him to a 6-year deal, and I'll be honest, they cut Zeke this offseason. They were about 2 years too late. I think Zeke, if you watch the Cowboys, you could have seen this 2 years ago that he wasn't the same player.
Ate some money on that too.
Yeah, they ate some money on that. And the worst thing is that this past season, Zeke actually had more touches overall than Pollard. And that's because they were paying him so much money that they had to just justify it, and they force-feeded Zeke. Le'Veon Bell, I think, is the worst example of it. I think he set back running backs a lot, and he tried to do it for a good cause. He sat out because he said, listen, the market isn't what I like. He ended up sitting out an entire year, got a deal from the Jets that was even less money than the Steelers initially offered him. And with the Jets, he was horrible. And then he bounces around teams. He goes to Kansas City. We're thinking there might be a revival, and he was just done. And it doesn't help that James Conner instantly matched his production the very year that he sat out. And the Steelers were fine when Le'Veon Bell left. So I think all of these deals in conjunction have been case studies for the NFL to be like, listen, this all has happened in the past couple of years. And I think something similar happened with quarterback contracts not too long ago when the Eagles paid Wentz and the Rams paid Goff, and they didn't make it through their contracts. They got traded. And then you started to see quarterbacks not getting paid as fast and frequently.
Yep.
There was a big stalemate between the Ravens and Lamar Jackson for some time. He's finally gotten paid. The biggest thing that's holding back running backs from getting money in the rookie deals is the rookie wage scale, because back then in the NFL, rookies were able to make whatever the team wanted them to make. You know, the Raiders, and it started with Jamarcus Russell because the Raiders paid Jamarcus Russell, I think, $60 million, and he just blew it. So that's what started this rookie wage scale. And it's not just running backs that are getting abused by the contracts. It's also quarterbacks. You know, Lamar Jackson, one of the best winning percentages since coming into the league, he was getting paid, I think, less than $10 million.
Yep.
So elite players on the rookie wage scale are going to look like they're getting exploited because they're outmatching what they're getting. They're outmatching their production.
Especially if you're not a first-round pick. Like, I think Dak, who's a fourth-round pick, like, he's making $1 million. And part of the issue, too, is the franchise tag, where Saquon has his, his regular rookie wage scale, which is 4 years plus a team option for the 5th year. But then after that, you could basically franchise tag him for 2 more years. You franchise tag him the year 6, which is the top 5 salaries. But then you could franchise tag him for year 7 and just a 20% increase of the previous season. So Saquon this year is making $10 million. If the Giants want to franchise tag him again next year, they'd just be paying $12 million. And that case, you're 7 years into the league as a running back. If you're still elite at year 7, it's a rarity. So for the Giants, it's like, why am I going to, guarantee all this money over 3-4 years when I could just franchise tag you back-to-back years? And the franchise tag has been something, the NFLPA has been trying to negotiate out for years because it helps the team a ton and kind of screws the players for the most part. We saw Kirk Cousins get franchise tag multiple times before he went to Minnesota. So it's not only the rookie wage scale, but it's also when you're a running back who's only making $10 million to the top 5 average, like you said, it's going down. You could get franchise tag that second time where you usually don't see that at other positions, because if you get a 20% increase on a quarterback who's making $30 million, now you go from $30 million to paying him, $36 million, right? So it's a bigger increase there.
Saquon, I think, deserved his money. This past season, he had a great season. The Giants are a little bit cautious because the past 2 seasons he's been injured, he's been hurt, hasn't played up to his level. Josh Jacobs is understandable to me because this was his first real elite season of production. Outside of this season, he's kind of been a borderline 1,000-yard back and wasn't doing it on great efficiency. Tony Pollard, first real year as being the workhorse this upcoming season, hasn't been that up to this point. So I understand those deals. I just think it hurts morale a lot. I think back to the story of Max Crosby with Josh Jacobs. They were in the car together waiting at the deadline.
The story is terrible
for him to get his contract extension, and it never came. I can only imagine the emotions that they went through. Max Crosby being super close to Josh Jacobs, hoping he gets his deal, and it never came. The franchise tag, as horrible as it is for the players, the only bright side about it is that it does guarantee you money for that entire year. So as long as you're on the franchise tag, you get that entire guaranteed money.
Got to show up though.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to show up. But like, if you're not like Saquon, there's rumors that him and Jacobs, you don't show up to these games, you're not going to get paid.
Yeah. So
holding out is, you're so right about Le'Veon Bell completely ruining the landscape for RBs in the future, because he sat out, and I was in support of Le'Veon Bell for sure. I was right there with him. I understood his cause. For him to come back and be bad, not average, not but slightly below, he was bad.
Should have went to the Jets.
It laid the blueprint for future running backs that if they want to hold out, all owners have to do is look at that situation with Le'Veon Bell, say, hey, we see how this transpired. Do you really want part 2 of this? Do you want to be also a part of the history of running backs that tried to stand up and really could not end up on the other side and really show that running backs are worthwhile? You're just losing an extra year on your body. And in an NFL, time is so valuable and so precious that it's tough for these running backs. And it's going to get to a point where I really do think that the rookie contract for running backs will end up being drastically different, because it's to guys like Saquon, where they are the heart and soul of the offense, the heart and soul of the team. For him to not get his money is a slap in the face to him.
And with Le'Veon, the Jets were the only team that wanted to pay him.
You gave him 14, right?
Yeah, it was a disaster from the start because
week 1 it was viral.
His running style is a patient running style.
And when you guys have the worst offensive line in the league,
and the Steelers had the best when he was there, he was able to be patient and wait for holes to develop. With the Jets, he tried to do that, and nothing ever opened up. And Le'Veon Bell isn't somebody who's a burner, who's just gonna run past you. He's shifty, and the styles just never meshed well. And it's unfortunate because he was a big reason as to why the teams just stopped wanting to pay running backs after that.
He just came out and said I should have never left Pittsburgh. He's right. He shouldn't have. I was so happy when we signed him, but looking back on it, he was in the perfect situation there.
He was. Summer League standouts. We're going to talk about the NBA. And Summer League just ended. We saw the Cleveland Cavaliers win the Summer League championship. And when we talk about these young players, we always got to mention the upside that comes with these young players. And there's only one app right now in the market that lets you invest on these young players' careers,
Amen.
and that's
Shout out to our
Mojo.
brothers at
They're
Mojo.
also coming out with daily fantasy sports
Here we go.
in August, September, I believe.
Just
we'll
in
be
time.
promoting that, no
Just
doubt.
in time for the NFL season.
But Drew, the Cavs just won a Summer League
They
championship.
did.
Amani Bates was part of that team, and he's one of your Mojo investments.
Dude, at $12, I get it. There's a lot of things going against Amani Bates. Yes, he was a second-round pick, had some issues in college, definitely did not live up to the expectations in college. However, at $12, did just really maybe you look at the field goal percentage, it wasn't that great. Shot 40% from three. Almost half of his shot attempts were from three. Average, I think he scored 17 points in the championship. I believe he was top 7 in total points in the summer league. He really did show out. And I look at the wing position for the Cavaliers, and especially last season, where this offseason, they look to address it. Brought in Max Strus, signed my twin Georges Niang. Yes, they're trying to address that wing position, but I feel like if there was any position where Amani Bates could come in and try and capitalize, it would be at that wing position for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think he got put into the perfect situation for him. He is an offensive player. And let me not say offensive. He is a scoring player. He is looking to score the basketball. Limited passing is in his future. Thank you very much, bro. The words kind of just were jumbled up, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Yes, he's a scorer. No doubt about it. That is what he's looking to do, but he can do it very effectively. And I think that with the need at the wing position, Amani Bates I believe he'll see opportunity. And at a price of $12 in Mojo, all he needs to do is become, one, relevant on the roster, get some minutes, and maybe one day he becomes that three for them. He is a poor man's MPJ is how I see it, right? MPJ coming to the league, and even still, he's not looking to pass a basketball. He is looking to score. He has become one of the most effective at his role. I look at Amani Bates in a similar light, of course, not with that same talent or the skill set at this point in time. But I believe that opportunity will be there for him. And he looked very good in Summer League. So I'm expecting him to be a good investment for me.
For my Summer League standouts, I have about 6-7 players.
I have a few, but I mean, you're telling me to talk about Amani Bates, but that's fine.
But listen, to piggyback on your Amani Bates points, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in the championship game. We saw flashes of defense. And I think that's the most important thing. He can shoot the ball well. If he can play well defensively.
His shot blocking was not bad. You're right.
It was not. If he can play well in a team defense sense, he's going to get minutes. And you're right. Cleveland is a perfect opportunity because they lack wing players. Now, I know Riv has a ton of players he wants to get off his chest. I do have.
You better be in your glory.
You only have
18 and 19-year-olds for the next 30 minutes.
Before we get into nitty-gritty, Isaiah Mobley, that has to be his brother, correct?
It is.
I was going to say, bro, they look identical.
Yeah.
You actually that's crazy.
What, bro? Just for conversation purposes.
Yeah, it's his brother.
I'm going to get into my Mojo investment.
I thought we were supposed to come with one.
I have a few because I knew.
Bro.
It's Summer League. It's a lot of players playing.
You got to talk about Cam Whitmore. Got to talk about Orlando.
I feel like that was. I thought we was gonna bring in the under radar guys.
I did.
Let me hear.
I did.
See, we're here.
I brought in the under radar.
You got Orlando on there?
Nah, I did it.
Yeah, we watched him put on a movie against the Celtics.
I just had one.
I brought in some underrated guys, but the Mojo investment for me is Cam Whitmore. He's at $52.
Isn't that ironic? After you shorted him on draft day and
I shorted him on draft day.
He's a money-making guy.
Yeah, I make money.
I respect it.
All right. Cam Whitmore was at $100 on draft night because they projected him to be a top 10 pick. Well, he fell all the way to 20. And guess what? He fell from almost 100 to $52 on draft night. I shorted him because there was reports that said he was going to fall. I followed the trail. That's all I did. I was like a little animal, following the trail. I was following it. And I cashed out big, over $200 on Mojo when I did that. But Cam Whitmore had a great summer league. I mean, 19 points. He won summer league MVP. He was rebounding the ball well, defending well. I wish I got to see him with more talent around him because in Houston, when he's playing on the actual roster, he's not going to have the freedom he had in summer league. But I think the flashes were there. And it's kind of ridiculous how Miami selected Hawkins over him. The Warriors have Kuminga.
Yeah, Hawkins played 2 games of preseason, and he was just like,
he was good, but I think Cam Whitmore should have been selected over him.
Is Cam going to help them win now?
He could. Why not? Why not?
You're lying.
Hawkins is going to help him win now?
Probably.
He's older.
We'll see.
Yes, he's more of a win now player.
Way smarter IQ player. Yeah. Come on.
We'll see. Is Spo's that great coach?
Cam might not get a lot of minutes in Houston, bro.
He might not year one, but I believe in Cam Whitmore's potential.
What about year one?
You had Cam Whitmore as a top 5 prospect in his draft.
Yes, because those are garbage teams.
Is that wrong?
No, it's not wrong.
I don't have how
But
many
I'm saying-
Hawkins.
So you're saying if you were the Miami Heat, you're selecting Hawkins over Cam Whitmore, are you doing it over?
me? No, but
Okay,
I'm saying
I get the logic.
Yeah, I get the logic. They
I
want
get the logic, but I get the logic,
Uh-huh.
but that's not what I would have went with.
Really, because you shorted him. So what are you talking
No,
about?
I shorted him because of reports that he was going to fall. I didn't short him because I thought he was a bad player. I shorted him because of the reports that he was going to fall.
That's
Cop
right.
out.
And
it is
all,
a cop out, but listen.
Cop-
got
it's
his
a valid
got his
cop-out.
pay.
Valid cop-out.
although the Warriors have flashbacks of selecting these young players and not panning out, I thought AirPods over Cam Whitmore. I would have taken Cam Whitmore there. I know that they've had struggles in developing these young players, but he was a talent that should never fell to 20. But once you get in that teens area, it's all about a fit, and that's why he fell that far. But I think, him winning Summer League MVP was a little bit of a slap in the face to everybody that drafted another player over him.
Do you have your other 5, 4?
I'll let you go.
Yeah, not name them.
I don't have Marcus Sasser.
Can you just name? Can you name one more?
So I have the
Under the
sophomores.
radar. Yeah, no, you didn't name under radar.
Oh,
Jabari,
under
you gonna
radar.
talk about Jabari?
I will talk about him.
I was gonna say
You-
because I
but
remember you
Riv-
telling me that Tari Eason cleared.
I'm asking
Riv
for
just
under the
challenged
radar.
So did
me
he.
to do under the radar.
No, you didn't say. You said Tari Eason cleared.
I said, yeah,
No, that wasn't me.
no.
No,
No,
that was
that was
Johnny.
John.
That was
That
John.
was
That
the
was the
twins.
twins.
Yeah.
My bad.
Nice.
That wasn't me. I didn't say
We're
that.
talking about under the
bullshit.
radar.
Yeah, I want to hear. Yeah.
We got to talk about the Denver Nuggets in their draft.
Okay.
Hunter Tyson.
Oh my
6'8" out of
God,
Clemson.
Hunter.
Jalen Pickett.
I had Hunter on
Julian Strother.
I swear to God,
Hunter-
no, that
Hunter
is-
Tyson averaged
We saw him
21
play.
points, 54% from the field, 50% from three, 37th pick in the draft.
He did tweak. Now that I'm thinking about
yeah,
it, yeah.
bro, the
now-
first game we saw was him.
We went and saw him live, and he was
Yeah.
amazing. The Nuggets had an amazing draft, and if they're going to keep surrounding Jokic and Jamal Murray with
They
a
gonna have
championship
to.
caliber team, they're going to have to draft well, and I think they had a great draft.
CBA
and
gonna kick some
Their
ass.
summer league
Yeah,
prospect
it's a matter
showcase.
of
that.
time.
Yo, bro, you were locked in on Javon?
Quinley?
No, bro. Javon Freeman Liberty, bro.
Oh no,
Chicago
I
Bulls.
didn't watch a single
This
Chicago
guy,
Bulls summer league game. Nah.
JQ's he transferred to Memphis, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be fighting with Mikey.
All I'm gonna
Williams
say
for
is, bro,
minutes.
Max Christie, all summer league. Stop
He,
playing with
he
him.
was great. The reason why the Warriors didn't draft Cam is because Jonathan Kuminga's a year older. It just doesn't make sense. Like you need a guy who can come in, smart IQ player, all that shit. So it just bringing them both in and having them on the same court is
I understand.
truly hilarious. Honestly,
That's the future, though.
yeah, but the IQ would be nuts on that court. If both of them are on the same court, it's insane. For me, Marcus Sasser, man. When I watch summer league, I watch things that can translate to the NBA. I watch what skill, what trait can translate to an NBA setting. And with Marcus Sasser, what you saw is defensive intensity can translate. The hot shooting, we see that throughout the league off the bench, that hot spark plug shooting, the toolbox that he had, the bag. I know how I get about the bags. His bag is ridiculous, insane. He's quick, he's agile, he's very twitchy. I saw all that can translate to an NBA setting. Maybe not as a starter, but I think he can definitely pan out, carve out a nice 6-man career, be one of the heart and soul. He was the heart and soul for Houston. He was a great player for Houston. They went far in the tournament, and I think he can be that for Detroit. I like what they brought in for him and Monte Morris. But I guess you brought up Cam, so I'm going to speak on Asar because he didn't even make first team, and I thought that shit was insane. He was by far and away the best defender in summer league. Like just in
Shouldn't
terms
have
of
been a
his
surprise.
in terms of his defensive intensity, getting steals, his rebounding was amazing.
Facts.
His ability to just play a role in summer league is going to be so important in the NBA because he's going to be able to play that same role. His playmaking in the fast break was amazing. He was just doing it all for them, and I thought him not making first team was a little bit odd, but just him in terms, like I said, translatable skills. The defense will translate. Fighting over ball screens. He to me, he looks like a much better defender than his brother in terms of just fighting over ball screens, being there in the pick and roll, being there as a stout defender, having a firm base when somebody drops to the basket. Like he just has all the tools. And then as a rebounder, he was there. So
And that's saying something to say that he's a way better defender than Amen, excuse me, because Amen's a great defender in his own right.
They're both great.
But Asar is just at a different level.
I was done.
No, that's fine. I'm doubling down on what you're saying. Asar
it's
was
your- it's
My
amazing.
turn.
Yeah, that's what I was
don't,
waiting for.
Don't you guys love when like agenda and fact just come together?
Let me guess. You have a Celtics guy.
Jordan Walsh.
Oh,
It was
shocker.
fantastic. Now, Riv talks about like he likes to see the skills that translate from summer league to the NBA because a lot of the best guys in summer league, they're just pure hoopers, right? Tween, ISO, bad guys, get to the basket. Jordan Walsh, he's not that type of guy.
Nah.
But what he did in summer league, he shocked me.
Translatable.
Offensively surprised me, up 16, 4, and 2 with the steal, 42% from the field, 41% from three,
They've slept on him.
and 80% from the line. We know defensively he can be very versatile. He slept on him.
He slept on it.
Why'd you sleep on him?
I did it
He said the shot was not going to translate. There's no way in hell.
in the first year.
Wow.
What
41
the hell? What are you
41%
doing?
from three from the
Wait, Dehls.
summer league.
Believing him is nuts. That's number one. That's
I told he didn't know about the workout. Understandably,
We did have some inside information
We
that
did get
at
the inside info.
at the workout he hit 77 of 100 3-pointers from Boston. So
he was
Boston
wide
wanted,
open, wasn't he?
of course, I mean, yeah, it's a workout.
Like,
But Boston wanted Walsh all along, trade down, trade down, trade
Yeah,
down.
no, he
Got
was
him at
he-
39.
Did you know Derek Lively also hit 98% of his shots at open gym?
You're right.
wow.
90 is actually insane.
No, yeah, he was also lights out
Yeah.
at an open gym.
Wait, from 3?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
He's open, bro. What the fuck you want him to do?
You're
This?
thinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, he's
77?
lying to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
You
not
did.
believe you know what I mean?
You believed him.
Well, sometimes you,
What's going on
especially when
here?
it goes to a Celtic.
No, I like Jordan Walsh.
Do you?
Unfortunately, I would hate him
The first
day one.
Exactly.
NBA season. I
It's,
would.
it's the
Bro, let me
first,
ask you a
how
question,
long
bro.
is it till he's fat and shitty?
Don't let me get fat shit.
Let me ask you a question. What happened that suddenly you just hate the Boston Celtics?
Finals. It's not his fault.
But you beat
It's
him.
ESPN.
You beat
It's
us,
ESPN fault.
But you won.
No, it's not his fault. Like I said, it's when they said 92% that the Celtics could win, it pissed me off.
But you won.
Yeah.
So why did I
You
would
should
hold
hate
no
ESPN,
animosity?
not us.
Well, now I hate the Celtics now.
I hate the Warriors, but you beat us, so I have a valid
That's
reason.
see, that is very good
Yeah.
reason.
Oh.
I would love the Celtics if I was you.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Listen, I got no ill will towards OKC. We smoked them. I got no ill will towards Miami. We smoked them.
Yeah, that's true.
You're also a Miami.
And
fan.
Miami, we won 2 championships over there. It was viral.
I just think that you got to respect Jordan Walsh. and
I
what
think
he
you
can
do
in
too,
his
Riv. You
abilities.
got
I
to
don't
respect
dis-
the Boston Celtics as well.
I respect
talking
you guys.
about an
I just
elite
hate you guys.
defender.
But I
That's
for
fine.
sure respect you
Lead
guys.
defender,
elite defender. He can
3-point
rebound
shooter,
well. I
could
mean,
rebound.
This is
He had
an
little-
insane
little-
he got-
agenda
he got
that
some-
they're
he
getting
got
out
some
there.
playmaking.
Going
just a
through
little bit of playmaking.
screens, gonna need some work.
It's young.
He's 180
19.
pounds.
that jump shot looks
19.
smooth.
I like Jordan
He's
Walsh. bro.
19.
What are we doing here?
He's
He
19.
just disrespects Arkansas guys. He did the same thing to Anthony Black.
I did it.
Wow.
What did I say about
Insane.
Anthony Black?
And Nick Smith, bro.
Oh no, for sure.
Deserved.
No, he.
Well, what did you say about Anthony Black?
No, you just.
I need a refresh.
No. You just said. What did I say about Anthony
Well,
Black?
I know that you were sitting next to me in summer league
Oh.
and you were clowning and
Okay.
booing whenever he did something good.
He had
I
2
love-
drinks.
Nope, Dehls, I got him. I
Okay.
love that he brought that up. So first of all, you were going crazy when Anthony Black made a little hit to the right.
When he made the right read.
No, he made a simple read. You were just,
What was he doing?
going
No, you're waiting for asking again.
No,
His
no,
eyes
no,
are running
no,
over
no.
the back of his head.
He was going crazy. I'm looking at Dehls like, yo, you see this? He's like, yeah, he's kind of glazing right now because he was making a simple pass here,
Nah,
a
it was
simple
good
pass
reads, bro.
there.
It was good
It
reads.
was like a simple thing, and I'm just like, dude, relax. But then if Asar does something amazing, he's just sitting there. Oh, I'm on my phone. I didn't see it. So I was like,
You did
That's a lie. I was the one that
thank you.
I was
Thank you.
if it was
Dehls.
Anthony Black.
Yes.
If it wasn't Anthony Black, you were not watching the court.
That's
bro.
a lie. I was the one. We had to tell Riv, Asar just made a great pass. You're
Ooh,
missing
No,
it.
Dehls told me that's
That's-
facts. Dehls did
that's
tell
true,
me.
that's true.
But
I
we-
wasn't on my
No,
phone.
but we caught you a few times. I was like, yo, you seen that? He was like, nah, I was on my phone. I was like, nah, he just made a great read. He was like, oh, did Anthony Black do it? I said, no. He's like, oh,
It
that
was
important.
Do we
nice.
know when Anthony
Yes,
Black
yes,
does it?
yes, you wasn't
nice.
paying
No, because you
attention.
want to know why? Because Anthony Black was doubted. Asar was not
Who was
doubted.
doubting?
Nah,
Asar
nah,
was
nah,
he's
nah, nah,
creating
nah,
a fake
nah, nah.
agenda.
No, he's not creating a fake agenda
Said the
because
Magic lost the draft.
2 times
Who
that
said
we
that?
did. No,
That
people,
was a
yes.
consensus
It was
opinion.
consensus.
Oh, I didn't say
No,
the Magic
no,
lost.
no, we're
A lot of
talking
people said
outside.
it.
So wait,
when
you
we
bringing
posted-
they energy
That's
to us?
fine. That's fine. No,
Yes.
Anthony Black was doubted when we made our mock drafts, and Joel constantly chose Anthony Black to Orlando.
Talking about
Listen,
though.
shout out to our boys over at 6 Man Podcast. They were even upset about Anthony
What does
Black.
that have to do with
Yeah,
us sitting at Summer League
He's
next to
getting
each
doubted.
other?
Oh no, listen, hey, he was getting nasty.
Because
He was
listen,
getting
I'm
nasty.
happy
But
with
this-
he succeeded.
Yeah, but we was too.
So let me ask you a question, bro. Is it like this random sudden
about to
like
create a
Asar
random
versus
No,
Anthony
this
Black?
no Asar versus Anthony Black. This is just strictly me praising Anthony Black. Why does it got to become an Anthony Black versus an Asar
That's
thing?
what I'm
Just because I'm
You
getting hyped for
just
Anthony
told
Black.
everybody I hated on Anthony Black.
I said
You did
Arkansas
that.
guy. It was
You
Jordan
did
Wall.
that.
It was
Oh,
Anthony
you
Black.
got
It
you.
was all these guys.
Man,
But
just
you know-
created a fake agenda.
You know, you was asking me about my other key players, and I think it'd be a shame if we didn't mention this rookie, Keontae George. Keontae
sure.
George is arguably the best summer league rookie, even better than Cam Whitmore. You know, Cam
looked his
Whitmore won the
ass off.
MVP, but Keontae George had a game where he had 33 points and 10 assists versus the Clippers. Kobe Brown did his thing too, another rookie for the Clippers. Versus the Wolves, he had 26.7 assists. The shot making with Keontae, we all knew was there. He can score in bunches. But I think what I didn't expect was the playmaking that he showcased at Summer League. And last year, The Utah Jazz drafted Walker Kessler. We're looking at Kessler like a Rudy Gobert replacement.
For sure.
I mean, can Keontae George be kind of Donovan Mitchell replacement for this Utah Jazz team?
I won't go that far.
That's kind of nuts.
But what me and Drew, when we were watching Keontae, the vision was there. He just was horrible.
Bad passes.
He's just making
Bad
a lot
passes.
of bad. Like
Summer
the
League,
vision,
he changed
yeah,
it.
he every read he made good reads. He could make the read. It's just he could not make the pass, and that's always you got to make that pass. Even when you make the read, your job's not done. So I'm glad to see that he fixed that
Clean
up
it
for
up.
sure.
Facts.
Yeah, but I won't go that far. Donovan Mitchell.
He's a bucket.
I won't
He's
go
6'3".
that-
But I don't think
versus
that
the
anyone-
Clippers.
I don't think people expect Donovan Mitchell to be as good as he was.
No, but now we have hindsight, so now we can.
I understand what
we
you're
can,
saying.
you know,
That's
kinda-
fair.
Keontae
Yeah.
definitely is in that mold of player, though. I'm not saying he'll be as good as Donovan
Oh,
Mitchell.
yeah.
He
But
just
that's
doesn't-
the type of
set.
skill
He's
set.
just, he's just not as athletic, so
Nah.
it's it's a little different. But he's more Bradley Beal to me at the KJ.
That's
he's
not a
more,
bad
he's more
opinion.
Bradley Beal
Okay.
to me because he's a little bit less athletic. He's a little bit more fluid.
Efficiency in college is so bizarre,
Yeah.
bro.
I think
Why?
Jordan Clarkson would start though, so I don't know. That's why. I don't
But
know.
either way, Keontae George, Kessler, Sensabaugh, Hendricks.
Danny
Hendricks
Ainge.
didn't play
That's a
much.
good core.
What's up with your boy?
Nobody
already?
played much. I think they got sick. That's why Hendricks and Sensabaugh got sick, and that's
They was
why
at the
didn't
game
play.
though. How sick are you?
That's a good question, Riv.
You got this
don't
drip
know.
on.
You look good.
Oh, I didn't get to see the full fit. You know,
Let me
they
look
on the
that up real
bench.
quick.
You know, they're flipped up and they're sick. I would be home if I'm sick personally.
Keontae George deserved an honorable mention. Got to mention Chet Holmgren.
Chet was fantastic.
Chet
That's amazing.
Holmgren, his defense was
Oh, his hamstring.
elite.
Hamstring. They got to be careful with the hamstrings.
His defense was elite, and I'm looking forward to watching the OKC Thunder this season.
Here he goes.
You know, Riv and I have been talking about this team a lot this summer throughout
Listen,
the,
I'm with
the
him.
NBA
Taylor Hendricks.
season.
I'm in.
You know, OKC got a chance, man, with the young players. With I've been a Gideon.
Oh, we're talking about OKC
we
now.
know I'm a
suddenly.
Gideon because we're
Okay.
talking about Chet Holmgren
Got it.
and what he did in summer league.
He's been a Gideon for sure.
20 points,
that's
10
the one fact he
rebounds.
said.
I've been a Case and Wallace guy, so we all have ties to.
We're all of a
Listen,
sudden
if
OKC
you
fans.
if
you
you
got, you need a
expect
player, bro.
I'm here.
Pick one.
Lou Dortz,
Jalen Williams, J-Dub.
So,
There we go.
What school did he go to?
Fucking
Santa
no.
Clara.
There we go.
Yeah.
but we're talking about if SGA makes elite, Josh Giddey makes elite,
If he make a lead,
another one.
what the other lead?
SGA?
Giddy, nah, Giddy could
He
get
said
better.
SGA.
You don't think there's another level
Three-point
to
shot.
SGA?
3-point shot.
It's hard.
I think there's another.
I was
There's
saying
another level
30
he can
first
get
Nah,
to.
team.
there is another level.
35.
Bro, genuinely, I think
MVP.
there's another
It's
level.
not about
MVP.
points. It's about skill.
And how do you
Yeah, but
No,
If I-
Alip is MVP.
different
let me-
variations to get a
I
bucket?
think because the 3-point shot it can marginally improve, but I think he'll always be like
A driver?
this type of
Yeah.
the leap because it's. I'm sorry, I'm looking at points, but the leap was crazy. Like 30.
It was last year.
30 points is nuts. Yeah, MVP.
We were happy about that. We were.
What?
We were happy about that. We had a big smile on our face when we saw the SGA leap.
Let me ask you a question, bro.
No
Did
doubt.
you have SGA on your first team All NBA when we did our?
You
Oh, I
falling
did.
for the bait.
No, I'm just wondering, bro. I just need to make sure that the
One
fans
thing's
know.
for sure, he's been a Gideon.
There's a
That's
big
it.
possibility I did. There's a big possibility I did not. I might have. I know I had Luka on there.
Shocker.
I think I had
The
SGA
11th
second
seed on
team.
there.
Imagine that.
Oh.
Imagine that.
It wasn't SGA. It was Steph and Luka. SGA
Oh.
was second team.
Didn't even have my boy up there.
I had Stephen.
I actually did not
I
have
had
Steph on my
Stephen
first team.
SGA.
That's Steph on the second.
I could not put an 11 seed one. Sorry.
You did.
Hey,
You like losers. I
he's
get
that.
it.
He's that great. He's that great. Just made the WCF.
That was 2 years ago.
How can you talk about losers and
Steph just
okay,
won,
he lost
please.
in a play-in,
They made the play.
but
Play-
they lost.
play-in's
They were
W.
projected to actually.
is
be
Who
the,
had
like,
more
13th seed.
expectations?
The
Some
Mavericks for
close.
sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Mavericks for sure.
Okay.
No, but if I think the Thunder getting Shet, that's what they needed last. Needed a rim
for
protector, needed a big man. I still think strength is an issue for him because he might get out rebounded, but the defense is a real thing.
It is.
And I got to shout out the sophomores, Jabari Smith Jr.,
Legend.
who in his 2 games made a big splash. 38 points in the second game versus the Pistons, 33 in the first one. He had 29 points in the second half and hit the game winner versus the Blazers.
That was crazy.
And my guy Keegan Murray, man. I was upset that the Kings didn't make a splash off-season move, but then I asked myself, is it realistic to think that Keegan Murray can make a jump next year and maybe in a couple years be just as good, if not better than Kyle Kuzma, or provide that same value? And I think you can expect that. He hit the most threes for a rookie in history last year. In the playoffs, started out slow, but picked it back up and finished the series out strong. And in Summer League, 41 against the Heat, 29 against the Warriors. What was really showcasing his off-the-dribble ability. And I think next year I can expect Keegan to average around 16 to 17 a game.
Am I bugging for thinking he's already close to Kyle and he can get higher?
I think he is close to Kyle.
I don't think Kyle is like I think that's
It's
like
definitely
lowering the bar
attainable.
for him. I
Agreed.
think he can get
Agreed.
much higher than Kyle Kuzma.
Also, if we're going to talk about sophomores, let's talk about Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren showing off some dribbling abilities. We saw him over.
Tell Robert
we saw him
bum ass
over in
Williams to get a
Vegas.
bag.
He's been the lab.
He is?
He's been the
So is
lab.
Ben Simmons.
No, Rob Williams is actually in the lab.
Is he really? He needs to get some.
He's
get
a
that-
little
get that
jump.
bag.
He got a little jump shot.
Jalen Duren was
Watching
over there.
Jalen Duren.
Nah,
do that
Rob's
live
never gonna
is
do tweet
insane.
tweet. Nah, no way.
Jalen was over there. Jump up. Bag.
That was fire. So
League
yeah,
is done.
we got to give Jalen.
Think of
Duren
Dwight
some
Howard
love.
with handles. That's Jalen Duren.
Nah, bro. When we walked past him, I remember walking past and being like, "Yo,
It was
dude
just
is
like you just
dumb
felt aura
tall.
of a big dude next
Facts,
to you.
though,
Like
facts,
you don't
though.
know who it is, but it's just some huge, large man right next to you. You have to keep your head down when you're walking past him. Because I didn't look up one time. I just was like,
You felt blacked?
what?
Hey, yo, what the?
Yo, what?
You said you felt a big aura of a man around you.
What do you mean black, bro?
You know exactly
Bro,
what he
you know
means
exactly,
about black.
bro. Come on, bro.
Explain yourself.
Bro,
Self
Guys, you know you'll never beat the allegations, right?
No, bro, it's not about allegations, bro. He's talking about the. Come on, bro. You really don't know what black is?
You know what black is,
Bro, you haven't heard the most recent thing about Lena the Plug, Adam 22, and
Oh,
Jason
shit.
Love. Yeah, so she got black because she was with Jason Love. He's like a member of that series, Black.
Oh, for
Yeah,
real?
yeah.
You seen the video?
No. Never.
Yo, what the?
You seen it?
I
didn't see it.
I've seen the picture.
I'd say anything.
Joe, that was fucking wicked. That was fucking wicked.
You seen it though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know you did. I knew you're freaky ass seen it.
Bro, I see
I
what the
saw
fuck you're
pictures on
talking
Twitter
about.
for
I've
like
seen the
biting the
pictures,
shit.
yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh,
I'm just like,
God.
pray for my brother Adam 22, man.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
seen the pictures. I didn't see the vid.
Nah, I don't know. Adam 22 kind of dug his own grave. I really don't care.
And marrying her. You gotta marry who you love.
But I don't think she had gotten with the guy before they got married.
Yeah, getting married and then
That's
going with a guy
fucking
is
dude.
nuts, bro. I'll be honest. That's like, yo, bro. And then he's like okay with it.
He's trying to
he
make an
encourages
entire joke out of it now, and I think
He's
it's kind
definitely
of
hurting at home.
it's kind of humiliating for him.
I was gonna say, to be fair, now if what their goal was to be number one, they got it.
I'm saying
Her goal.
they're getting a bag off it. Like everyone's talking
No,
about
he's-
it. Their views are
He's
probably
for
crazy.
sure, and I know this is a
I'm sure
sports topic, so
OnlyFans
we're-
went crazy.
We're gonna get out of here in a second, but he's for sure at home crying about it.
He's definitely not the
Like,
happiest.
he's sitting in the crib like, no way this happened to me, because that's embarrassing. Like if another man did that,
Is it
to
more
my woman,
embarrassing for that or to get cheated on?
I would rather get cheated on than a woman
Nah.
openly outside.
Because
I'm,
you gave the okay. A bitch cheats on you.
Whoa.
That,
A woman. He meant a woman.
Oh, my
goodness,
God.
Devin.
Relax. We're
oh,
having
your
a
girl
conversation.
watches the show. Respect her.
A woman cheats on you. At least you gave the green light beforehand.
There's no such thing as a green light.
No, Adam 22
Yo,
gave
to
a
be
green
fair,
light.
He's
I'm
a
gonna be-
sucker for that.
bro. I'm also be real with you, bro. Adam 22 has had a plethora of threesomes with other women.
A
bro.
ton. A
Like,
ton.
yes.
Congrats.
So like she is
Now the
done-
whole world knows that your woman was getting dogged out, and you've seen it. He watched the video.
Nah,
I
I
could
rolled to
never
the back
watch
of her head.
He
That was
watched
some
the video
sick
and he
shit. That was
had
some sick
him.
shit.
He had
He's-
him on the
Yeah, that's
podcast
what I'm saying.
together.
He's looking at
discussing.
him face.
They had
Nah,
DJ Academics doing a fucking reaction to it, bro.
Nah,
Shit
and Jason
killed
Love
me.
also was getting nasty because he got interviewed after and he was like, "Do you think that you did it better than Adam 22?"
For
He's
sure
like,
he did.
Yeah, I mean it's not even a question.
He was like emotionally probably not because she
Yeah,
loves him,
loves him,
but from a
bro.
physical standpoint, oh, there's no doubt.
I mean,
I put it in all the positions.
Give it a slack. I mean,
He was
yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro.
that's where her face was looking. Adam's never,
Yeah,
never,
yeah.
never.
He just can't.
He can't. He's not built that way.
Know what I
It's
mean?
understandable.
Yeah.
That's why you don't let a porn star do
Yeah.
it to your wife. You will never
Bro,
ever be able to
I'll
do
be honest
that.
with you, bro. The trio are all porn stars. They're all porn
That's a
stars.
fact. He is too.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
They
must be
yeah.
mid. Never
Bro,
heard
They have
of
a podcast.
Nah,
They
bro,
do a
you gotta watch
podcast with a
Plug
girl,
Talk.
and then they do it.
Plug talk. You're sick for watching that. The fact that you know that he's a
Bro,
porn
I'm
star is
enlightened. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm just in tune.
crazy. Enlightened is crazy. You're enlightened is crazy.
Tuned in.
Me personally, if I'm with you, my wife, you're not touching no other man.
I agree.
I'm with you there.
I agree.
That's just respect.
No,
Because
wholeheartedly.
if I do it and this
So
on
let me
video,
ask you a question,
she might
bro.
kill herself.
So what?
She might. Facts.
No, bro. If you have it now,
What?
Let's just move on, bro. There's no reason.
No,
to
you're gonna
continue
ask a dumb question.
No, bro, because you're saying no, bro, that she can't be another guy. But
Mhm.
then I'm sure you would want a threesome, right? Or no,
I
that's
actually,
it. Chop
I'm not really too fond
You're
of
monogamous.
Hmm?
You're monogamous.
That means you're only with one woman.
Yeah.
That's it.
for sure.
Good for you, man.
For sure. No, yeah, threesomes ain't really my vibe. you
I
feel me?
respect you, bro.
And plus, y'all know the way my girl is. She get jealous mid-3. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
can't,
Oh man.
probably
Can't
be
even
like,
think about that.
yeah, like
Sometimes you need it.
she probably hit me with the why are you looking at her like that? Like while we in bed, I'm like, babe, it's the threesome. I'm supposed to do that.
Let's get into these super chats. Black Sunday goes Harden to the Suns.
Oh,
What?
thank you.
That's-
What the fuck are we
yeah.
doing?
No team right now is interested in James Harden, reportedly.
I saw that.
And the Clippers are, but they don't want to give up Terrence Mann.
I don't-
What the
That's-
fuck are they doing?
Terrence Mann's.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the untouchable. Yo, I hate teams, bro. I hate teams, bro.
Aiden Ramirez goes, what's going on, fellas? Allow me to switch the vibe up real quick.
All right, please.
What are some of y'all's favorite albums of all time? Also, Drew, Otani to the Yankees.
I'm on my
question mark.
hands and knees praying to the good Lord. Please bring Otani to the Yankees. But right now
saw-
we're in last
I
place.
saw you saw a judge. They said might be back for Subway Series end of July.
So I can geek the fuck up because Lord knows we need that
desperately.
terribly. We're a lottery team without him.
Favorite
Uh,
album.
Hey, you
Favorite
guys are
album.
kind of fucked though because the AL East is just OD.
It is OD.
Because you're fourth, but like you're
Yeah.
still
me
so
see.
you're like 2 games out of the wild card. I think.
We're legitimately bad.
Yeah, so
Favorite
your team
albums.
is mid.
Favorite albums of all time. I'm gonna go Yeezus. I'm gonna go. If you're reading this too late,
This guy's gonna name Drake.
no, bro, I
You just
only
said
named
Yeezus.
one.
Oh, I didn't hear him.
Take
Sorry.
care.
Take Care is obviously one of my
Nostalgia.
favorites, but like to me, I think if you're reading this is the best. MGK, mainstream sellout, put that shit first ballot Hall of Fame. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Lil Uzi versus the world.
Why'd you look
Valid.
at me, bro?
I knew you were having a reaction.
I
knew
knew
you
you
were.
I'm
You know,
just
end of the
shocked.
day, you got to be you.
I didn't
man.
say
You
anything,
can't be.
bro.
You can't be
Dehls always-
embarrassed about
see,
other people.
That
having
always
opinions.
starts, and then I get the
How
bulk
what,
of the
how
blame.
did I start?
You know what, bro? That's right. That's right, and that's speaking.
He does.
volumes.
Nobody catches him when he does his little
No,
smirks.
no, but
Oh,
when
it's
it comes
only
to
me.
you,
I
bro,
laugh at
Because
him.
you're
You know
my
what,
you're
bro?
my
You're gonna have to-
eyesight. You're
yeah,
my
I-
eyesight. You're
I'm
my
a-
handsome
I'm a-
guy.
keeping my mind
Get
open.
my
bro.
I'm gonna
attention.
definitely go as yeah. SZA.
Okay.
SOS.
Control.
No,
Oh, you're an
no,
you're
no,
an SOS
No, that shit's
man.
the greatest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Control clears.
No shot in hell.
Control.
First of all, Snooze, that one song right there. I can hear
That's
that
a great
all day.
song.
Definitely Lil Durk 722. I mean 720.
Really? That's your favorite album?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it for sure. The deluxe, of course. His deluxes are always really good. My third would probably be.
You're not assigned to the streets fan, bro.
I am. I don't think it's probably my favorite. That's more nostalgia, you know, like just from that time. I don't know if I have a third. To be honest.
You know, just the two off the top of my head that I have, Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. I think that's up there. Also got to mention
That's really one of your favorite albums. Like
That's the street
yeah.
culture.
to listen to it.
at the time, yes. I don't listen to much Kendrick now, but like from listeners' perspective, when I took myself back to that moment, for sure, I enjoyed it a lot. J. Cole, Forest Hills Drive is one of
I
my
respect that.
favorites. I like that type of hip hop sound, and just to throw like some old classics in there. Kanye West Graduation, you got to throw that in there.
Respect that.
I'm a big Common fan. I think his album B is
amazing.
very slept on and underrated. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. And let me just throw in a Post Malone one, man. Stoney. I think Post Malone he just makes amazing.
Okay, I
music.
got
Artist
I got
2.0.
5. I got 5. Ballin' Like I'm Kobe.
Legend.
Artist by Boogie.
Okay.
Uzi vs. the World.
Fire.
Finally Rich, Chief Keef, and blanking on Pop Smoke's first album.
Oh,
Meet the
the
Woo.
Woo.
Meet the Woo.
Meet the Woo.
There we
Yeah,
go.
Artist-
Meet the Woo 2 clears.
I'll be honest. What's the third one after that?
Shooting for the Stars.
I
Yeah,
love Shooting for the Stars.
Yeah, there's
The
a lot of
deluxe.
features on that though. A lot
Meet
of
the Woo
features.
2, honestly,
Meet the Woo
it
2
set the
lo-
tone.
Yeah,
said-
but Meet the Woo 1 was like the
My third was Artist 2.0. And then my throwback would be the Carter 3 and the Carter 4.
All right.
You like Artist
Those are
2.0
good.
rather than Artist?
I do.
You're
I,
insane.
no, I
You're
do.
Insane.
I think Artist is better. I just like Artist 2.0
I gotcha,
better.
yeah.
Like the deluxe, like them shits be at like
That's like Take Care. I know Take Care is definitely regarded higher than If You're Reading This Is Too Late, but I like If You're
Yeah, Take Care. I can listen to Take Care all day, every day. Like,
I can
listen
see
to
it
every
in
day.
your eyes.
would I be crazy?
Angry.
Would I be crazy if I had More Life in my top 5 Drake albums?
And I dap you right now.
I really
You
like
know
More
ball.
Life. And her loss was tough. People sleep.
Her
on that
loss
shit.
is gas. Views, man, it really hurt my heart at that time when people were saying that it was mid. And now in hindsight, people talk about it like it's the best thing ever.
Because we like dance hall now more than before.
God, he
It
was ahead of
new.
the wave.
He was ahead of the wave.
Like, honestly, never mind either. People disrespected it, and now
I
people
still
fuck with
can't
it.
get with
Didn't
it.
you come to me recently and say that, bro? I
I liked it better than before,
Yeah.
but I still can't fully, get into it. I just fully got into Views, so maybe it'll take me like
Views
a year
is
or two.
movie.
Yeah, it'll take me like a year
Views
to
is a
get
movie.
into it.
No Country.
I'm still learning.
Alright.
I'm on that guy you sent me though.
Luke Combs.
Yeah, Luke Combs. I'm fucking
yeah,
with him.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that To Pimp a Butterfly gets a reputation for
Why didn't
being
you want
like
to adapt me?
the a woke album.
Well, no,
But
that's
like
I'm
pounding
not
you.
saying that.
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yo,
But
what the
just I think about These Walls is
Amazing
funky
song.
groove.
You know what
King
these walls
Kunta.
about?
Yeah, of course I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of
Just
course
making
I
sure,
do.
bro.
Of course I do.
Who are you talking about?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
To Pimp a
These
Butterfly.
walls. If these walls can talk, sex. Yeah, bro, that song is amazing. But then you got those deep thinking songs like How Much a Dollar Cost,
For sure.
Mortal Man,
Institutionalized, Mortal Man, for sure.
You
You is a fire track.
You is my favorite song on that album
I
because
respect
of the
that.
raw emotion that Kendrick showcased on that song.
I
I'm
like
the only
that.
one that
You're not
doesn't
a
listen to
Kendrick guy,
Kendrick.
right?
Yeah, I don't listen to
That's my
Kendrick at
favorite
all.
one.
You don't either?
It's a great listen.
I don't listen to Kendrick, J. Cole.
I
Now,
don't
To
listen
Pimp a
either.
Butterfly is actually regarded as the best rap album ever.
I respectfully disagree.
I understand where you're coming. In terms of listening to it, like of course I've heard it. I can go back to it and listen to it, but there's just definitely other albums that I like to listen to more.
I feel like
I can understand them saying it's number
I feel
one.
like
though.
music is so subjective. You can't say an album you don't really listen to a lot is the best album ever. I feel like for that you have to like listen to it a good amount of times.
You know what? I feel where you're coming from, but it's just music. You're right. It is very.
Yeah, it's like way too
very
subjective
subjective.
anyways. 'Cause, like I still listen to
I hear that. Swap.
Dude, I hate that it happens all the time.
Fart.
No,
No.
just in our headphones. The audience can't hear this, but it's like frequencies that we can hear in our headset.
It's like voices talking.
And
Yes.
Low-key, I would say, low-key
How,
sound
you
like
know how long
music.
I've been telling you this for?
Voices
No,
in my
I know,
head.
I know it
a
happens, but
classic.
there's just like nothing.
Yeah,
We can do about it.
You're right.
in my head.
Like if we all have
I
our
was talking about the
volumes
song.
low,
Oh,
I don't know where it's
Randy
coming
Yeah,
from.
that's the classic too.
No, that's the real
That
classic.
is.
Randy Orton, Voices in My Head.
Voices-
That's what I was
Oh,
talking
for
about.
sure.
He thought they boogie. He's a fucking casual.
Nah, man,
Yeah,
I was
they
watching
suck.
yesterday with Jessica. I was watching WWE, an Armageddon pay per view, Batista versus Triple H, Hell in
I
a
saw,
Cell
is this
match.
why you tweeted that?
Yeah, of course,
Bro.
But it's been a while. I've been thinking about it,
Uh-huh.
bro. Batista definitely has the best pyro entrance of all time. When he goes like this, like
Shawn
he's
Michaels
shooting.
shit.
Shawn Michaels is up there, but
He do the-
bro,
Shawn
Batista,
Michaels-
He does it twice too, right?
Shawn Michaels.
When he gets in the
Edge.
ring and when he comes
Yes.
out.
bro, but Shawn Michaels does like the little flex, and then the fireworks go on behind him. Batista's actively
Yeah,
like
Batista-
going
Nah, it's
with
hard.
the
It's
motion,
hard.
and
Batista's
then
shit's
going
hard,
like
yeah.
this, and the final one comes on.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I like
great,
Shawn
man.
music better. That's why I say Shawn
Yeah.
shit. Like his music go with the
Goldberg's is fire too.
Goldberg's
That his
scary.
Yeah.
oh no, he is scary. But when his pyro goes and he inhales the smoke and blows it out with his final one,
Triple H nasty. He be spitting the water out in your face
That's
and
lit.
shit.
also an underrated one, Kane.
Yeah,
Kane gets into
When he goes like
and
this,
then fucking goes
yeah,
brings his
that's
arm down
underrated.
for sure.
Jeff Hardy definitely has to be up there when he
Funny
does
shit,
the
though.
motion.
He start
Yeah, that's
breakdancing and
tough.
shit. They
That
said Jeff
is
Hardy
tough.
was on like a pound of coke every time he came out.
You know that for a match in TNA, he got drunk and he couldn't.
AJ
wrestle.
Styles one, right?
No, Sting won, and Sting just pinned him rapidly. He just did a move. and he
AJ
just
Styles
pinned him.
used to hate when he could do that frequently in TNA. Like he used to come out drunk. Like
Yo, it's so loud today.
No, it's wicked.
So
Yeah, yeah,
loud.
I
why am
hear
I
it.
the only one that can't hear it?
Be grateful.
I mean, I'm built different.
Who do you think's the best current entrance right now in WWE?
I don't care how basic this is. No, let me not say that. It's probably Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins,
It's
burn
Seth,
it down.
Yeah, it's either Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes, just because of how amazing the crowd reactions
I
are.
remember Christian shit.
Of course,
Christian's
Christian's
song
was OD.
Fire.
His song was amazing.
Yeah, he was OD.
Captain Charisma.
Yeah, he was OD. He was just mid.
he was mid. Man.
Cody Rhodes got the best song currently in WWE.
You like Cody Rhodes' song
Yeah,
better
yeah,
than
yeah.
Seth Rollins?
I do.
Okay.
I like
I
I like the
appreciate
whoa better than the burn it down.
I also weirdly
You're
do
losing me
like
now.
Roman Reigns' entrance. even
Roman
though
Reigns is just
he's walking out slow as
it's
fuck.
just it's a boss is coming out.
That's
And the
not fire?
WrestleMania entrance when they did the piano thing, they
Throw your
played
ones
his
up.
entrance on the piano.
Dean Ambrose was
It was
underrated.
amazing.
I like Dean Ambrose at that time. When he
Okay.
was by himself.
Mhm.
He just come out
Facts.
angry as hell. I liked his too. His was dope.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes probably is the best. I understand.
Zari said when the
About
pick aside
to
shirts coming
blow.
in for the woman.
gotta order 'em
soon
in.
and soon.
Yep.
What Drew said.
I see Zari and Jess are both in the chat right now.
Yeah, they're yapping
Talking to one another.
Yapping the fuck up.
When are we getting the girls on the podcast? I
Check
mean,
aside.
you know
Yeah,
what?
what are they
Let-
gonna
Let
speak
me
at?
not say this because Alexandra doesn't watch, but the girls are watching. They got their little group chat now.
You got
We're about to get popped.
Sub the Patreon to see that.
Yeah, what y'all going to talk about? Nothing.
We're gonna have them do some trivia.
Oh, facts.
Zari's gonna fail.
I asked Alexandra who are the last three Broncos quarterbacks. You want to know what she said? She said Russell Wilson,
MGK?
Andrew Thomas.
Ah,
I said Alexander. What the fuck?
Andrew Thomas.
I said, bro. I said I give it the benefit of the doubt. It's a football player. I'm proud of you there. No, he doesn't even touch the football. She lost me terribly.
Only person that already knows is Jordan Poole and Steph.
So she clowns Jordan Poole.
She does.
Good.
She's terrible.
That's fucked up.
It is, right? I should break up with her, right?
That's fucked up.
Oh, shit.
I ain't saying all
That's
that.
nuts.
Shit is insane how she disrespects my Poolie.
Let's
Your
talk
Poole,
about
oh
the
my God.
NBA in-season tournament. And the question I want to ask you guys is, do you think this is going to bring more interest to the regular season? Now, to let the audience know how the in-season tournament will be formatted.
You're about to be on your Richard Jefferson right now.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Talk to me,
It's
Daddy.
going to tip
I mean,
off Friday,
Hold the
November 3rd. The championship is December 9th. So this in-season tournament is going to be a one-month thing. Before the tournament bracket is created, teams will compete in group play, and these tournament nights will be played on Tuesday and Friday. Each team will play an opponent in its group once. The team with the best record in its group will advance. The tiebreakers are decided by the head-to-head record or point differentials.
Yep.
Now, 8 teams will advance to the knockout round. The leader of each group, record-wise, and 2 wildcard teams. These games in the knockout round are single elimination and will all compete for a prize pool in the first NBA Cup. Now, the 6 groups in the in-season tournament are 3 groups in the West, 3 groups in the East. The 3 groups in the West, Group A, Grizzlies, Suns, Lakers, Jazz, Blazers.
That's fun.
Group B,
Fun through.
Nuggets, Clippers, Pelicans, Mavericks.
That one's the
Rockets.
best one. That's the best one.
Group C, Kings, Warriors, Timberwolves, OKC,
Another
Spurs.
fun one.
On to the
Okay, so we'll
East.
clear.
Group A, Sixers, Cavs, Hawks, Pacers, Pistons. Group B, Bucks, Knicks, Heat, Wizards, Hornets. And Group C, Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Bulls,
That's
and
sweet.
Magic. And all these
Magic, bro.
games,
Relax. They own you.
They do.
Whoa.
the
Magic.
Magic
The
on the
Bulls
Celtics.
also own you.
Last
year we did.
Last year. Magic last year we did not beat them.
And all these games will count towards the regular season.
Amazing idea.
So there is an incentive for players and teams to go harder in these games because they count towards the regular season and the record. The only game that won't count is the championship game. That's the only one that won't count. And the tournament's going to have an MVP for it and an all-tournament team.
That Group A
think-
looks spicy.
Yeah,
Group A is
the
fire.
West is tough.
Yeah, I'll be
But the
honest.
West-
I
the
think
West, yeah.
this is a great idea. I was very hesitant on it when I first heard about the
I need to hear
idea.
the breakdown.
Yeah, but seeing how it's broken down, I think this is going to bring a lot of interest to the season. And we might see the winner of the tournament be a
Be a
team
mid
that
team.
usually, I wouldn't even say mid, but a team that's usually injured during the playoffs.
I'll be honest.
Maybe it's the Pelicans. Maybe it's the Timberwolves that come away with the first NBA Cup.
Why is he upset?
You know he's gonna be talking nasty.
Yeah,
shit,
Dehls, I'll be
bro.
honest. If you guys lose this group, I'm gonna be pissed at you. It's your group to lose. Look at
Wait,
your
it's,
group.
Maybe the Clippers finally win
Now it's a
something.
Mickey Mouse group.
no, it is for sure. But
Hold on. Stop. Just
He just got rude.
he did.
Yeah, that's facts.
That's hilarious from a Timberwolves fan and a Phoenix Suns fan. You haven't won shit either.
The Suns went to the finals. They actually
didn't
beat
win.
the Clippers to
They,
go to the
they didn't
finals.
win.
Actually,
They
they
didn't
got
win.
a conference finals trophy though. They did win that though.
Imagine counting conference finals.
Oh, he has to do that. Another his
Tatum's
team's
got
going
the
to.
Larry Bird
Grow
trophy.
up. Hey, I respect that.
No, I agree.
All right, that's a W.
I want you to think back to 1980, and then I want you to count up how many times the Knicks, the Suns, and the Timberwolves have won championships, and then figure out the number.
You're being foul.
It's the truth.
So I throw the Nets in there.
Yeah, you throw them in there too. Oh, they really ain't win shit.
They're ABA championships, man.
I said 1980.
No, I understand. You can even go as far as 1974. You know, like that's if you really wanted to get rude, if you really wanted to get rude. 1974. I think it's an excellent idea. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to disrespect our Knicks, bro. My bad, bro. That's on me.
The Clippers got 0.
I mean, they've
entire
been to
time
one conference finals.
The Bulls have 6.
You see any of them?
I saw the Warriors.
It's funny how
Just
Riv
bounce.
only mentions the Bulls when it's convenient.
Yeah, Bulls got
That's it.
6. Wasn't even born.
You only mentioned the Knicks in the slander.
98. He was alive.
April 16, 1998. We went after.
You're 2 months old.
Ah!
April 16th, bro. It just hit me. Is that the same birthday as Playboy Cardi? Do you have the same birthday as Playboy Cardi?
No, I have the same birthday as Kareem.
Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay, all right, bro. Why did I think that you had the same birthday as Playboy Cardi?
I fucking wish.
Not me
Mid.
googling that. It's irrelevant, bro. I'll look
Huh?
it up later. I'm
Mid.
so sorry.
The
The
Herbos never dropped Dialect.
point.
Zero fears.
No.
What did he just say? God, Joel, you're such an
said-
idiot.
No.
You're such an idiot.
Respectfully sucks.
An idiot.
Sorry, G
Idiot.
Herbo's not that good anymore. You know.
He's still
You
good.
felt it.
He's still good.
You felt
Is
it.
he welcome to Phase Land Ball like Kobe? Probably not.
Is he even
So it's a
humble
fall
beast? No,
Yeah, I think I don't
He's
even have
not
Humble
even-
Beast in my top 3.
he's not even Humble Beast Herb though.
Nah, he's not. Humble Beast on my top 3.
He's not gonna change this. He's gonna be the
PTSD is
same.
better than Humble Beast. Pretty comfortably too.
Ooh.
Pretty comfortably. in my
Let's get
opinion.
back to the
we
NBA
go.
season tournament.
NBA.
Drew, what are your
I'm
thoughts
sorry,
on the
bro.
tournament?
We're having too much fun on this episode. I think it's an excellent idea. I think that'll be. There's obviously some groups that are better than others. The Lakers group is going to be a battle for sure. Unfortunate that John Morant is going to be around for this time? I don't believe so.
No,
Probably
he won't.
not.
So
At
then
the end, maybe.
yeah, it's going to be
games
It's in
the
November,
last
so that's a
game.
month into the season.
So
He's out for 25
just
games,
so
right?
did you mention the wild card also?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming that one of the wild card teams will be in this division between the Suns and the Lakers. Group B, Nuggets and the Clippers. Those are the two teams. Pelicans, if Zion is going to be healthy, that's
Yes.
definitely a team to be in competition. Group
November
B is-
basketball, he will be.
Group B is not going to be a slouch by
Yeah,
any means.
Dallas.
Nuggets, Clippers, Pelicans, Mavericks.
That's
Very
the one of
good.
them ones.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Rockets, hopefully they just show you a little something, but that's probably the team that's left out of there. But I think that this is an excellent idea in terms of bringing viewers to the regular season. Anytime someone hears the word tournament, people are automatically tuned in. And I think that with how seamlessly they're transitioning it to incorporate it into the regular season record as well, I think that was a very great idea on the NBA's part. I think that I was with you as a lot of other people when they first heard this idea. There's like an in-season tournament. We're just trying to add too much. And that was right at the time that they announced the Larry Bird and the Magic Johnson Trophy as well. It just seemed like the NBA was trying to do too much. But now that it's here, now that it's been broke down, I think that it's an amazing idea. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of these matchups. I think that they're also incorporating a little bit of football/soccer, where how they're doing the group stages. I think that that's also a very smart idea. Try to bring some fans that, obviously enjoy soccer, maybe to the sport of to basketball, understanding that soccer is the most viewed sport in the world. Maybe this idea will intrigue some viewers to come over from soccer and also watch basketball as well. But to me, as a fan of basketball, regardless, it's just something extra that's added for the regular fan as well. And I think that it's a great idea.
Oh man, yeah, the groups make it fun.
For
Like
sure.
we all pretty much had that idea where it's like we don't know what it is. You just broadly say it to us. We're probably not gonna think it's good. But looking at the groups, I mean, Group A is cool. Group B is Miami and the Bucks, so we'll probably see them again. The Knicks are right there though. Group C, Boston will probably fold and do what they do best, not live up to expectations. But I think Group C, like Kings, Warriors, Timberwolves, OKC, San Antonio, like that's the one for me that's exciting because it doesn't have a definitive winner. I feel like with the Denver group, people will have Denver as the favorites, right? And I feel like with Group A, the Lakers or the Suns would be favorites. But I think in Group C, like you got the Kings that can win it, the Warriors that can win it, Timbs can win it, OKC can win it, San Antonio can sneak up and win it. No, for real, like that could be a group that could be probably the most
Okay,
exciting.
Clears.
Lost me.
Sorry, man.
Clears.
He disrespected your Celtics.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
No, he said that the Celtics will be the Celtics and fold.
Go fuck yourself.
Did you hear me say it?
No,
So then
Do I lie?
you don't.
he is.
Then you got me to back up that statement.
I can't trust you. I can't trust you though.
Come on. But I think this is definitely fun and
Fucking
excited. I'm excited to see how this pans out for sure. You also have an easy group, Mr. Knicks fan. You got the Bucks.
It is. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm just so glad that this is early in the regular season because we're getting a healthy Clippers team, Pelicans team.
Hopefully.
Well, we're getting healthy teams across the board, and I think that's what's gonna make this
Healthy Lakers.
that
No
much
one's
more
better than
intriguing.
us. Sorry.
Nuggets.
No.
Yeah, he's so funny.
LeBron wasn't healthy, and we were in every single game.
We're playing that
We
card.
lost
All right.
every single game.
We lost.
You
LeBron was
actually
unhealthy.
lost. You didn't win a game.
I agree. I said we were. I didn't say that we were.
LeBron isn't the same guy to make that 4-0 turn into a 7-game.
Yeah, I
He
don't
was
win.
healthy.
Yeah, it's probably 4-2 the Nuggets.
Okay,
Probably.
casual. Got it.
Casual.
39.
Got it.
This guy's sick. You know,
What
it's
do you
LeBron.
think,
Whatever.
Dehls?
I think it's fun. I think it's really going to be up to the players how much they care about it. Like, are we going to see Friday's players taking
It's
load
November
management?
basketball.
You know what I mean? And November basketball, we saw it last year. You see some really weird things
love
like
it.
Utah and fucking the Pelicans being
Respect
the
my
1
Jazz.
seed. Yeah, something like that. They were the 12th seed, finished the year, right?
They should definitely have a rule there where players cannot sit out those games.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
Tuesday and
That's why,
Friday
because
games.
like if they're just going to treat it like a regular season game, then it's probably not going to do a ton. But I think that championship game will really see what kind of impact it has. Because if you see players going all out and treating this more like a play-in game compared to just a regular season game, it's different. But at the end of the day, it's like 500,000 cool for the end of the bench guys who are making minimums, making $1 million. But for the superstars who are going to be carrying these teams to win these games and they're making 20, 30, 40 million, I don't know if 500K is like, oh, I got to get this 500K. It's a good amount of money. Don't get me wrong.
Nah, what they're there to win is the fucking NBA Cup. That's what they're there to win.
It's cool, but it's like, it's not like the play-in where it's like win or go home. You get into the playoffs like that. That's why I don't like comparing it, because the play-in is still so much more in the line because you're getting to the playoffs. This is still like, I don't think we're going to be talking about but they won the cup.
I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Like,
I'm going to be honest though.
It'll be different than when we set the tone and someone real right wins it.
Steph winning the cup, then All-Star
is.
MVP, then WCF MVP, then the Finals MVP in the same year is going to be fire.
That's
going to be a generation.
But if he does all of that and not the
stealing
Finals
the thunder.
MVP,
Fuck you for stealing my
if he does all of that,
You
not
knew I
Finals
was getting
MVP,
nasty
no one's
with
going
the
to talk about it.
Lakers.
Well, he will.
Do you believe that?
And also,
Fuck else gonna win.
when it comes to when it comes to the play-in tournament, it's usually teams that we know have an outside chance in the playoffs. Once they get there, it's usually a first-round elimination from them. This season was an anomaly with the Lakers and the Miami Heat.
Wow.
But with this cup,
we're through that joke.
I think he meant that very innocently.
I know I did. I didn't mean in no type of way. But the NBA Cup, I think we're going to see two great teams in this championship. I think we are.
It's a competition. It's a tournament. Automatically, it'll bring the best out of these athletes.
So. And also, it brings
it.
intrigue to the NBA season, because football season, we know Sunday, that's the day we watch football. Monday, Thursday, we tune into football. With the NBA, it's now, okay, Tuesday and Friday during November, these are the tournament nights.
Nah, they knew what they were doing. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. There's no football on Tuesday. There's no football on Friday. That's when you
liked how they, integrate it within the regular schedule. It's only one extra game, because the last thing I wanted to see was like, okay, you take like a 2-week break and you have like this bracket style and it's like completely different. Yeah. So I like that it's kind of with the regular NBA schedule. And it's only one extra game, which hopefully shouldn't have too much of an impact on, playoffs.
And Tuesday and Friday is usually the day that ESPN NBA games air.
Yeah.
And Tuesday's TNT. So we're going to get these nationally televised games. I think it's going to be exciting, man. And I think the winner right now, early ones, the Suns, man. I think the Suns are early favorites.
Do you guys think it's more likely it's like a powerhouse team that wins it? Like,
I think it's going to be like
exactly. It's going to be like one of those November teams.
I wouldn't be surprised if my Detroit Pistons win it all.
Yeah, like
no cap.
I'd be very surprised.
It's single elimination, right?
Yeah, it's
bro. I'm glad that you brought up the Pistons, bro. I have a proposition for you.
What's up? You want to be a Pistons fan?
I'm not saying I want to be a Pistons fan, but
talk to me.
I know you're an Amen Thompson fan, a huge one, arguably the biggest I know. Listen, bro, we could be Twinskies for real. Let me be the All-Star fan. You be the Amen fan.
No, bro, you can come to Detroit fan. I'll allow you.
Let me get All-Star. You get Amen.
You can't. They're
Come
twins.
on, bro.
They're the same person.
And that's like you and I.
No, I'm not giving up. No, you can come to Detroit.
I just lost a brother today, guys.
That's fine because I gained too.
What if he gives you? What if he gives you Austin Reeves?
Huh? What?
I'll clear your name in the Austin Reeves.
I don't give a fuck about that clear. you can keep my name in there, bro.
So you were never clearing those allegations, you fucking casual. You don't know shit about Austin Reeves.
You can come to Detroit.
No,
just
bro.
Pull up to
I want a star.
City.
I want a star. You take a man.
Pull up.
In.
No. I already have a man. He's
yes,
mine.
a lock. That's locked.
So why would I give you a SAR? I gave you Scoot.
No. You didn't give me.
I
You
gave
didn't. No,
you
you
Scoot.
didn't. No, you didn't. You
yes,
folded.
I did. I
You
gave
folded.
you Scoot.
You know you lost Scoot because
no,
you,
we
you
were sitting there having a conversation.
Nah. You lost me. You know that.
And I was like, I'm a big aiming guy. He was like, all right, I'm gonna be the Scoot guy. And I said,
he's,
fine, have Scoot.
Capping. I asked you a man or Scoot, and you said a man.
You did take Brandon Miller number 2.
And you took Brandon Miller over him.
First mock draft.
For sure. But
you lost him. You know that.
For sure. But we sat here and you said you're the Scoot guy. I said, yeah, you can have Scoot.
Nah, bro. Come on. Like I said, you have like 75 guys. Give me
I watched college.
I'm willing to come with a proposition. And that's not even college. They weren't even in
I'm
college.
Just saying that's why I have 75 guys.
I understand that. I'm fine with you having 75 guys.
Did you watch OT?
I did, unfortunately.
You're such a liar.
Bro, what do you mean?
Where do they play?
What do you mean by where do they play?
where do they showcase overtime elite games?
I'm not going to tell you that I know that.
Is it Vegas?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's like a provider.
You know that?
It's a streaming. It's a streaming provider.
Prime Video.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought you meant the
location.
Yeah, I was like,
no,
I watch on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I was like, no shot. I know where that is.
It's like, nah, I watch on YouTube.
Thank God.
Listen, bro, was I gonna go into draft day not watching any film?
No, it's
on them?
for sure Prime Video. Though. Funny enough,
that's lit.
Yeah, it's actually fire.
No, listen, if Amen and Asar are good, overtime elite isn't in the clear for sure.
Oh no, yeah.
But it is when you're watching the games. It is tough.
AD is expected to sign an extension before the season.
We're here.
He thought that was gonna move us.
Oh yeah, keep sleeping. Like you thought we'd lose in the first round. As did you. And as did you.
We didn't think you get swept either, and then you did.
No one did.
Yuck.
We all
Bruce Brown
played.
actually called you out of the least of competition. He said the Wolves and the Suns was better.
He did say that. He actually
Crazy.
violated
Every single game. Of
The
ours
Suns
was
was
close.
kind of, or the Wolves.
He
was kinda
said
nuts,
even
but
when we
Suns-
was losing,
Wolves were
we
close
always
games
knew
out
we was
there,
going
right?
to win.
So was Lakers.
Yeah,
all
they were
of
all
theirs
close.
close,
Denver,
yeah.
they only beat the shit out of
No,
Phoenix.
every time they won a
But they
game
lost,
against
too.
Phoenix, facts they did.
The Phoenix.
But every time they beat him, it was by double digits.
Yeah.
With Minnesota and outside the first game, every game was pretty competitive.
Now I'm gonna be honest, Bruce Brown was violent, bro. He
Yeah,
was
he
like
was talking.
he was like, even when we was down, we knew we was gonna win. Like every
he took
game,
it out
we thought
real
we was gonna
personal.
The thing is, they're trying to make a rivalry out of this.
You
And
think
I
so?
respect
Swept
it.
y'all.
They're trying to make themselves relevant. Respect to them.
But
being
Bruce Brown's not on the
champions.
team no more.
Exactly.
Has
just
no
like-
fucking
he
horse.
He
just
got his
full
ring
open.
and went to Indiana. Can't tell you
He's
got
on
his bread.
Tyrese Halliburton MVP's team right now. That's
Here we
what
go.
he's on.
FP.
Let's just move on to the next
FP
topic.
is crazy. bro.
Don't sleep. He could be the Steve Nash of our generation.
Jesus Christ, respect fucking Steve Nash.
Respect Tyrese.
Steve Nash
Reese.
clears.
Oh yeah, he does
Like by far.
For now.
No, forever.
for now.
Okay. All right.
I actually would do absolutely anything to get this noise out of my ear.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
Yeah, it does. This week
Like it.
in the NBA,
It's not my favorite.
let's get into some headlines, and I'll go first.
Dude, can I go first, bro? Because you probably have like 7.
I have 5.
All right.
God.
So I'm gonna go first because
He just
you know
writes shit
rather
down.
play safe than sorry.
You're gonna
than-
go last, so you don't steal any of ours.
That's
How about
ex-
that?
That's
Okay.
exactly my idea.
Fucking
Uh,
guy.
Miles Bridges is going to be turning to the Charlotte Hornets. He is going to be. Why is that? Was that going to be yours?
No, I said no.
He
it's for obvious
apologized.
reasons.
He
for
did.
the-
Yes, he did put out an apology.
Jess says you don't respect Steve Nash.
You don't?
Wow.
She said,
Truth
"Don't
is-
disrespect Steve Nash."
Oh, I thought you don't.
He's going to be
Oh,
serving a 10-game suspension because they said that him sitting out 82 games last season, they're nixing 20 of the games. It was supposed to be a 30-game suspension. He did sign a 1-year, I believe it was $7 million
Qualifying
contract,
offer.
qualifying offer to return back to the Hornets. Very interesting. An apology, of course, that's very surface level. It's just going to be a matter of cleaning up your actions from here on
It's been
out.
a year.
It's going to be a stain on Miles Bridges' name for the rest of his life. That's just the responsibility that comes with. I believe that now he's on a 3-year probation on top of that as well. So obviously he has his strides to go back to being okay back in just the eyes of many. But right now, of course, he's back in basketball. He's back with the Hornets on that qualifying offer. So of course, that's just big news there. Where yes, he's on 3 years of probation.
Yeah, he missed the whole
Playing
year.
Hornets.
As long as LaMelo Ball is healthy, yes, playing because that's just
he
what he
missed
does.
the year. So, I'm not saying he justified, but he missed 82 full games. It is what it is. We've seen worse, right? So, word, he's here. This week in the NBA, the Suns traded campaign to the Spurs. They also picked up Bobo, which I'm sure you're going to talk about.
TJ
This-
McConnell's coming.
Here we go. I'm sure you're going to talk about this is a needle mover, but this move I think was the move to probably just bring in TJ McConnell, which is a solid backup point guard.
Respect
Is he better than Campaign?
Yes.
Okay.
He's definitely
Comfortably.
he was excited about Campaign, then Campaign got traded. Campaign is dog shit.
He's not dog
No,
shit.
he's actually ass.
He's not dog shit.
He is ass. But nonetheless, he got traded. This is the move to probably bring in TJ McConnell. They did also bring in Bobo to try to have a backup big man. So just kind of moves to kind of end free agency, kind of water it down. Go ahead, Joel.
No, it's my turn. My turn.
That's
Oh,
Dehls.
you didn't go
I
yet, I'm
think
sorry.
it's Dehls.
76ers have had a bit of a noisy offseason. James Harden requesting a trade, not getting the trade, doubling
Joel's
down.
just
The
nixing
Clippers
them
don't
off his
want him.
list.
He had all of these.
Okay.
But there was
There 2 more.
So it's kind of a 2-part same story, but we have the Joel Embiid quote from a few days ago, where they talk about winning a championship, and he says, "I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or anywhere else." But shortly after, Sam Amick of The Athletic said that the Sixers believe Embiid wants to take the Kobe or Dirk route and just play with one team for his entire career. Now, with James Harden going out, this is a pretty bad team. I'll be honest. They lost in the second round.
Bad.
Never got
Playing.
past the second round with anyone there. Harden, Ben
Don't forget I'm a
Simmons,
Sixers
whoever it
fan.
might be. Now that Harden's
Terrible
gone,
time.
and if the best player they're going to get back is Terrence Mann, it doesn't look great for Joel Embiid wanting to win a championship. I think at some point he does request out. I know your Knicks are one of the top teams that they're going to be targeting him. But we kind of have conflicting reports whether he's going to stay or go.
What about the Lakers, bro? You think we can finesse that?
I don't think so.
You had to move AD.
Wouldn't do that in my life dependent on it.
All right, well, there's that.
When it comes to this Joel Embiid quote,
They'll make the plan.
the good thing is that Daryl Morey did say that they're not just going to trade James Harden. If they don't get a deal that they like, they're going to keep James Harden.
He won't play.
And,
suck it up.
Unless James Harden is going to ruin his reputation even further, he's going to do serious damage to his career if he sits out.
He'll just come in fat.
I hope that's not the case. I really hope that's not the case.
He did with Houston. He would just come
because
in
I think
tired.
if James Harden is bought in, this team, like last year, they got a chance. They do. They did have a chance last year.
Respect Philadelphia.
You
Respect
yelled at
Embiid.
us for 30 minutes about how Nick Nurse wasn't a needle mover.
That was under the assumption.
Yes,
That was some crazy shit.
But
right
now that Harden might stay and he might buy in, you think they have a legit chance to do what?
This is what I said about Nick Nurse precisely.
Oh my God.
I said that Nick Nurse, if this Sixers tenure fails, he might be looked at in a similar light that we look at Doc Rivers.
So you said if
That's what I said.
If Harden stays, you think they have a chance
but
to do
Nick
what?
Nurse, I can also acknowledge that in Toronto, when he went to that team in 2019, he got the best out of Kyle Lowry by talking to him post-game after he struggled in a playoff game. Maybe this is wishful thinking, but I feel like that type of hard coaching could maybe get Harden to boost his game up in the playoffs.
He needs help.
He is insane. He didn't say that about Nick Nurse.
Listen,
he's on his last legs.
He's on his last legs with this James Harden scenario, so I don't blame you.
And with Joel Embiid, I don't like what he said because I feel like you can point to Embiid being the biggest reason, if not the second biggest reason, each time the Sixers have flamed out in the playoffs. For him to say he wants to badly win a championship, I understand the sentiment, but your actions are showing something different. When in Game 7, you score less than 20 points in that Game 7, you get blown out. I just feel like Joel Embiid, time and time again, has come up short in a moment. And if he was able to elevate his game and play at an MVP level, the Sixers would already have a conference finals appearance, if not a finals appearance already, if he had elevated his game in multiple scenarios.
Yeah, should have beat the Celtics.
For sure.
Should have beat Atlanta.
Two opportunities to beat you guys and didn't win not one game. Now, you only took one of my things.
Okay.
These guys didn't take.
No? Wow, no
God.
Suns talk.
Thank heavens.
Wow.
Nah, I got no Suns talk,
You saw my tweet.
because honestly, we know what's about to happen with the Suns.
We have 4 teams coming out the West, buddy. We don't know. We
already know.
We
already know what the Suns about to do. The damage they're about to do, man. They're gonna wreak havoc. They are. Chris Paul doesn't look like he wants to come off the bench and go to state.
Jesus Christ.
That's my this week in the NBA. And I think
Good.
it's a point in Chris Paul's career that he has to understand that he's a bench player. He's not a starter. And if he's a starting point guard, he's at the bottom of the totem pole of starting point guards in the NBA currently. And it's no shame. He's had a long, amazing career.
Facts.
But at 38, embrace the bench role. Embrace that role and don't make it a fuss. And I feel like right now he's making it a bigger deal. He told a reporter, how do you know I'm not starting? How do you know I'm coming off the bench?
That shit was dumb funny. He said, "You the coach?" That shit was funny.
That was like when they asked Melo, was like, "Yo, bro, are you ready to come off the bench?" He's like, "Come off the bench."
Melo was
Took it like
coming
the
off All-Star appearance.
He took it like the biggest insult that he's ever heard.
Melo had more of a reason to take it as an insult at that point in time.
I'll be honest. If Chris Paul starts, you won't see me here.
No, that'll be nuts.
You're lying.
No, I'm just like so.
No,
serious.
I don't believe you.
No shot in hell. I'm coming.
You're
here.
lying.
I'll only come for football.
Oh, you're not coming on to the show.
Yeah, for
okay.
basketball.
Yeah, or that I agree with.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be only a football guy?
Yeah, if Chris Paul starts, I can't do it. I can't. Nah. Chris Paul starting is nuts.
If Chris Paul starts, bro,
that means we're gonna start
gold.
Chris and Steph in the backcourt, Wiggins at the 3, 4, Clay at the 3, and Draymond at the 5. I can't, bro.
God bless.
The Bulls were granted
$10.5
$10.2 million exception for Lonzo Ball. They were just granted that money. They can do whatever they want with it.
Probably pay AO.
And then now I have something about the rules in the NBA. There's 2 new major changes coming. In-game penalty for flops resulting in a technical free throw and a second coach's challenge, bless you, awarded if the first challenge is successful. Those are the 2 new gameplay rules coming to the NBA.
Why didn't they just do, if you win the challenge, you just keep it, and then you keep going.
That's essentially what they did.
No, but if you lose the second challenge, you only get 2.
They
So
probably
if you win the second challenge,
I don't
Because
want a
people
ton of
start challenging out their ass.
well, because the refs be on some bullshit. Like
the NFL's the same way though. You get a third potentially.
you don't get a third. You win that
you could
second.
get a fourth also.
I think in the
NFL
NFL you only have 2.
No, yeah, but if you
get
win
two,
the
get
2, you
third.
get a third.
Yeah. But if you
Well,
win
He
the
is
30,
not
don't
doing
get
that,
it.
right? And
you
you
sure
win
about
it to
I'm
that's
like
it.
99%.
You just have 2 total, and if you get the first one wrong,
Damn.
you don't have the second one.
The flopping one I like though. It's time to. I don't know how they gonna
Cut it
figure
down.
it out, but it's
Yeah.
time. Like
They had to stop Austin Reeves somehow.
comment.
It's okay.
Chris Paul and Mark Smart.
Kyle Lowry.
You know what's ironic about that? His favorite player, literally of all time, is one of the biggest floppers ever.
Oh yeah, he would have got cooked. He would have got 30
Yeah.
texts a game.
You think so?
James Harden easily.
His I don't know if he's a top 75 player if they would have integrated this.
He
back in the
grabs
day.
your arm and literally shoots. Like it's really odd that he does that. That's why he
Listen,
never won.
And you know who else does that?
manipulating the game.
Austin Reeves. But you know, we scrutinize Austin for it.
So
We screwed Nash
superstars
Harden,
should
too.
get
He
superstar
did
calls.
screw- You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Superstars should get superstar calls.
Yeah, so KD.
That's why Austin Reeves gets him.
Yeah, okay.
Christ alive.
KD told Suggs, "I'm God, boy." In the game. He told Suggs at the free throw line, "I'm God, boy." Yeah, that was crazy.
He's about to have an MVP like season.
Really?
Yeah.
How many games did he play? 12.
70.
70. Holy shit.
I'll take the
God
under.
bless you. If he's played 70,
You're taking 50 and you're running with it.
Listen, Kevin Durant said he's been practicing this offseason at defenders coming at his legs. That's what he's been doing because that's how he got injured in the first place, Dehls. All right?
He's got to
It wasn't
get.
his fault.
You
They
seen
won't
the
even allow Kevin Durant.
you seen the quarterback doc with Mahomes saying how he like bends his body in different ways. KD's got to get on that regimen.
That
Kevin Durant is
documentary was
7-1.
amazing.
Yeah, I actually just finished the episode with your tweet.
Really? Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was in a really last section of
It
of the
was
episode,
yeah.
Suns
It was
cause
cool.
havoc.
It was my tweet was part of the section where we were talking about misinformation in the narratives.
No, I saw the Mariota quit on his team. Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
The
The
commentators.
narrative
yeah,
around Mariota.
Suns
I
cause
hope you
havoc.
gain some respect for Mahomes. All right.
Just know you were a part of the problem. That's what they were doing.
I hope you
They highlighted how you are a part of the problem, Mr.
listen,
Moran.
man. Technically, he did. What can I say?
He had a knee injury, man,
He didn't stay with
And
the
he
team.
had a kid,
and a child.
Marcus Mariota.
Ah.
You have to watch the quarterback
Listen,
doc on Netflix.
I'll say
Squad.
this
Gotta go to
briefly.
work.
Who's on it?
It's
Josh?
Mahomes,
All right,
Kirk,
have it.
and Mariota.
No shot. I watch.
But it's like 50% Mahomes.
Do you want to know what the highlight of the
30
show
Kirk,
is, other
20
than, of
Mariota.
course,
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins?
He's a
Because why?
sweetheart.
Kirk Cousins is the captain,
Sweetheart.
baby.
No
He's
shot.
Captain
In line.
Kirk.
It's good look.
I've
They
been
had
in
like
line.
Fields, Lamar.
They
You
were
see where I'm
next-
going
they
with
were
this.
Next
season two.
season, Trae, Jalen Hurts,
The black guys.
Dak Prescott, and/or Tua Tagovailoa, Jimmy G, or Russell Wilson.
They need to get like a rookie.
I don't want to see Russell Wilson.
Brett
do.
Coleman had
For
this
when he
tweet
has a
out.
comeback season, it'll be
They better have
awesome.
Future in there.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
That was uncalled
far.
for, bro.
Little jab.
Brett Coleman had a tweet
Serious?
that next year it should be Joe Burrow,
Uh-huh.
Geno Smith, and Bryce Young.
I
That's
can't
cool.
have a rookie.
I
Why?
don't think so.
I don't think so. There's already
Too
so
much?
much responsibility on you in year
But
one.
you always got cameras on you, regardless of if you. You know.
You're
what I
right,
mean?
but you
Like,
want to limit that in year one, in my opinion.
So it should be the third quarterback then.
So the way that I put it
gotta be
was,
like Ryan
I had
Tannehill,
Burrow
right?
and Hurts because you want to get to what potentially was last
Yeah.
season, MVP, Super Bowl. Like that alone made the season unbelievable. And then you have that good to great tier quarterback.
Herbert's never going to do it.
Dak Prescott is the first and really the strongest candidate, in my opinion. Geno's not a bad
What
one
about
for
Kyler Murray?
sure. Kyler's hurt. He
I
won't
like
do- he
Geno
won't
though
do it.
because Geno's story of what he's come back from, and if he has another amazing
See
season,
Kyler's like rehab, maybe he comes back. Like, see, that would be kind of cool.
That would be lit. Definitely a different perspective on that end. But
Yeah.
I feel like in the good to great, I'm trying to like have it in that section. Maybe a Derek Carr,
Justin
a Dak
Fields.
Prescott. Justin Fields not a bad
That's supposed
one.
to be dope.
But in terms of like the
Those
stable to replaceable quarterback, it's just got to be Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield. It's just one of those two, in my opinion, for sure.
Baker Mayfield would be a good
For sure.
story to follow.
And I bet that he's dying to have more cameras and microphones in
He might
his.
get benched. So, you know, it could be a Mariota situation all over again.
I listen.
Respect.
Hey,
Let's be honest.
we said stable to replaceable, right? I'm being respectful here.
That's extremely respectable for
Geno Smith, though, I would love, man. I feel like the
Josh Allen's
Seahawks,
definitely one of those to look at for the elite tier.
the Seahawks can do something special this year, man.
Watch it then.
Seahawks roster is so talented.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're vying for the division crown. I think they're that good.
It's
of
not a
They'll be in
crazy-
that conversation.
It's just them getting Javon Hargrave, man. It's
Yeah.
just the Niners are cheese.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy's going to be good.
But I know for sure Herbert would never do that documentary.
Why do you say that though?
He's too introverted.
But bro, he was on Hard Knocks, even though he was forced.
He was on Hard Knocks. He was forced, but I think that type of documentary is something that you volunteer for. And they ask you and you say yes or no. Herbert runs away from the social media managers that work for the Chargers.
Mhm.
Whenever they come out, it's like a joke within their fan base that whenever they come out with cameras, Justin Herbert like
Gets low.
walks the other way.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be seen.
Did you, prior to watching the quarterback, did you feel like Mahomes was let me not say introverted, but definitely not as outgoing as he portrayed himself in The Quarterback.
I haven't watched every episode of The Quarterback. I've only watched
what the
some.
hell's wrong with you?
I've been watching Better Call Saul. That's really what it's been.
All right,
I just finished Snowfall.
Snowfall. I watched the ending. It was really amazing.
It was good. Kind of
Amazing,
sad.
right? You like Old Boy?
Huh?
You like Old Boy, Franklin?
Yeah, the ending was sad.
It was very odd. It
Yeah.
hurt. It hurt mentally.
Yeah. He was his character, like he was a great actor, but
was.
yeah.
You fuck with the that type of vibe. Like you would go out
That-
there in the street.
I'm not going that far. Not selling crack cocaine.
Oh, okay. I'm just actually.
Lost me there.
But with Mahomes, I just think what he's done on the field and the way he carries himself, I kind of get that vibe from him, especially the things that he fights through, like the injury in the playoffs. I saw that episode of him fighting through that injury.
I haven't got to
It's
that
just
yet.
certain things that he does that kind of exudes that leadership, and like listening to him in a press conference.
It's just I always felt like Mahomes was a quiet dude, and then you have him mic'd up on the field.
So he didn't know
He's
he was like that.
No, well, in terms
Oh,
of
like
like
shit
being
talking,
vocal,
you're saying?
I had no idea. He is rowdy.
He's a
He
dog.
is.
I
He's-
respect
I
the
would-
hell out
If
of
I
him
was
for
Mahomes, I'd
that.
do the same shit. Nobody can stop me.
Nah, he throws that touchdown to in the Bucks game where he just kind of like flung it into the end zone to Clyde. And he just goes, "I'm like that." I'm like that.
Yeah, I mean he's the best, and he knows he's the best.
He's really good.
He's the goddamn best
This guy's having a fetish.
for Mahomie.
My homie is nuts.
That is my homie.
Next topic.
This is the last topic of the show. It's Trae Young versus Luka Doncic.
Shit's hilarious.
Trae Young was recently on Draymond Green's podcast, and the title of the podcast is Trae Young Talks Luka Comparison. And really, Draymond was telling Trae Young, listen, man, you got the numbers, you got the assists, you led a team to the conference finals. Why is the narrative for Luka all love, but the narrative for Trae is the opposite of that?
I think we know why.
This shit's funny. You know what? The picture that's going around with Tyrod Taylor and Jalen Hurts. That's what this is.
You're being rude to Trae Young.
No, but it's just there's a gap, a clear gap.
No, there's a gap, but I feel like the hate stems from he did it to himself in the New York series. He wanted to be the villain. He lived up to that role. He's ran with it for years. Even still, he'll visit MSG like he did it in WWE. He came into an event. He was in the Garden. They booed him like shit. He does it to himself where he makes himself the villain, and I don't see anything wrong with it. He's still an amazing basketball player. That's what he wants to do. He clearly stands up to the moment. We saw it against the Celtics. He played excellent basketball. Against Miami, he struggled, but he still had a game-winning shot. He didn't play his best brand of basketball by any means in the Miami series, and he still had a big moment. It's just that Luka Doncic, yes, I'm with you, is in that top 4 category. That's why the narratives are a little different. You're getting a little bit rude mentioning Tyrod Taylor in a similar letter as Trae Young.
It's not that big of a gap, but there's a clear gap.
For sure. Trae Young's a top
There's also- but
15 player in the NBA, probably at worst.
But do you think that Trae Young got hated from the Knicks series? Because I thought him taunting the Knicks
He became a villain after that.
for the Knicks.
Yeah.
But I thought for the NBA as a whole, they sympathized with Trae Young in that moment because there were fans that were spitting on him at MSG, if you remember.
No, for sure.
And I thought fans of other NBA teams looked at that like, I'm glad he's showing up the Knicks. That's how I
if
viewed
you
it.
weren't rooting for Trae Young in that Knicks series, you don't care about basketball or real hoops because what he did was go into the moment
Real
and
Knicks
ball
fan,
the fuck out. Oh, listen, I could be respectful of the Knicks and acknowledge that Trae Young went into one of the most hostile environments and played some of the best basketball that we've seen in the playoffs in a first-round series, of course.
I don't know where it starts from, the hate. I
Really?
don't know where it stems
It's the
from.
Knicks series.
I think it's just like I'm not a Trae Young fan, but I understand what type of basketball player he is. I think he's one of the 10 best offensive engines in the NBA. His ability to just backpack offenses and lead them to a top 10 unit every year, maybe missing out like 1 year, is astonishing. I think that it's just because what we've seen in the last 2 years is the fan base completely flip out on Trae Young and rank him lower than where he should be, disrespect his game. And I guess it probably started with the Miami series, I want to say,
That
where
definitely
people,
what
where
it
people
was.
really started to look and see, but he was out there by himself.
And they also just completely blocked from their memory that he went into that Cleveland game. Cleveland was beating them by double digits.
32 and a half.
And he went and put up a second half for the ages.
Yeah,
And I think and Luka, yeah, you're sick. Calling him Ice Trae is nuts. And smiling
He's
like
ice
that is
cold.
just, yeah, I could, yeah.
I was talking about that game winner.
That's why he's
that game moved.
That's why he's your
should
10th
respect
best
him.
point guard in the league.
Listen,
Yeah,
it's year to
nuts.
year. He could be number one next year. Who knows?
This ain't football. This ain't year to year. Respect him.
You don't think so?
No, I know so. Luka gets it's let's be honest, Luka gets babied. He's the charming
He-
darling
how long
boy
have I been
of the
saying this for?
NBA.
How long have I
He's
been
the
saying this
prince
for?
of
Almost
the
a year
NBA.
now?
I've been right with you.
And it's justified. You know, when he comes into the playoffs, he's elite.
He's amazing.
No matter every time he's elite. And Trae Young is not always as elite as Luka, and that's okay. You're not always that player, but Luka's the darling boy. He can miss the playoffs, and it's like, all right, it's some slack. Trae Young could get smoked out by Miami, and it's like, oh, this guy sucks. He's never going to be the best player on the championship team, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, obviously, Luka is the darling boy of the NBA. The NBA gets, trust me, I've been a Steph Curry fan my whole life. I know how they treat the darling boys of the NBA. They get a little bit baby. They get a little bit coddled. They get away with a little bit of stuff. But also, Luka comes to play every time. Trae Young has his faults, and that's understandable. But I think the Trae Young disrespect primarily comes from that Heat series and the fact that he's a dog shit defender. He doesn't put that effort in on the defensive end, and people, probably one of the worst we've seen in our era as a guard.
Is there? I feel like this is the trend, really. If you are outspoken, if you are actively in interviews, if you're on podcasts, you're leaving yourself more vulnerable to have people criticize you, right? That seems how it is. You don't really see Luka out there really doing interviews like this. You don't really see Jokic, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry from time to time definitely will do it. He'll hop onto the Draymond Green podcast. He was on the Through the Wire podcast, but Steph Curry definitely is a whole different category of superstars that have been catered to or not as disrespected. But it's the quiet ones that really people don't have a problem. They kind of allow their blemishes to be looked over because they're not being vocal about it. But God forbid you're on a microphone. Kevin Durant, although, of course, there's different situations. A Kevin Durant, a Karl Anthony Towns. That Karl Anthony Towns is probably the one that I look to the most in terms of people that definitely scrutinize him. And, of course, on the basketball court, Karl Anthony Towns is great. He's had his lulls in the playoffs, particularly against the Grizzlies. The one that comes to mind, was that his only playoff series?
Or so the Rockets, I would say.
He's rarely
Facts, that's what it was. But
rarely been good ever.
No, but for sure. But I feel like you leave yourself. I feel like I've found the trend of people that go into a microphone. What did you just say?
He was solid against the Grizzlies.
He wasn't down.
He was good.
He was inconsistent. Can we leave it at that?
I think you're trending. You're going to a good thought.
I tried to finish it, but it's okay.
The example that I would go to debate against it, though, is Jason Tatum. I don't think Jason Tatum's outspoken at all. And this year, he probably faced the most scrutiny.
Bro, he went on to Malika Andrews, and he was just, am I wrong? What was that?
You went last offseason, he was with Malika Andrews.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, facts. Man, I forget what it was.
But the Tatum,
Jaylen Brown's the one who said I'm going to win 4 championships.
He averaged 18 points against Memphis.
18? Oh, that's solid.
Because he had a 5-point game.
That's solid.
That's like 7 points drop off.
But am I right, though? Like, Jason Tatum is quiet, but I thought he got hated on a lot this past season.
Yeah, I feel like, because when people talk about players that could lead teams to a championship, Tatum frequently gets left off. He's usually like the cutoff where people will put Jimmy Butler, people will put Luka, but they won't put Jason Tatum. Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's
this
where
is the first time where Damian Lillard has really been vocal and really speaking for himself freely. And this is the most criticism that he's ever received in his career.
That's because he said he would never join a team.
But again, you're leaving yourself vulnerable when you're opening. Like, just people are just so ready to make an opinion and be brash towards you, especially when for years you've been quiet. I guess there's a certain point when people are just not going to want to speak their minds. That's the complete opposite of what we want.
I think Dame requesting a trade was fine. Him saying he's only going to Miami is where people got issue with. If he would have said, listen, I'm open to going to the Nets. I'm open to going to these other teams.
What's wrong with him only? All right, yes, there. But like Anthony Davis, another one where he requested a trade from the Pelicans. He said, I only want to go to the Lakers. That became an issue.
Well, that package was also so much better.
AD also didn't come out and say, I'm welcome to playing for these other teams. He came out and his first idea, his thought was, I want to go to the Lakers. There was no switching up. But
that's kind of what Dame is doing.
Dame,
other than saying,
sprinkles.
Listen, it's I want to be in Portland. I want to run it back.
But then Dame talking about the Nets. He was like, he was kind of like
talk about the Nets, really.
Dame was sprinkling along this trail different hints, and then his ultimate decision was something that was not along any of those lines. Yeah. That's really
Trae Young also has been to 3 head coaches too, so that could be an issue.
No, Trae Young. But does that have to do with him or the team's like
a little bit
success?
of both.
When Draymond was talking up Trae Young in that thing, Trae Young answered back and he said, "Yeah, Luka's only taller." But I think,
all right,
I think that's a big thing though.
It is
because Luka's 6'8", Trae Young 6'1".
It's a huge thing.
Like for example, if LeBron was 6'1", he's not the greatest player ever.
So
if
wait,
Michael
Trae Young
Jordan
thinks he's there.
was 5'11", no, Trae Young thinks he's there.
Offensively, you can understand where he's come from. It's just that the height just
Offensively,
gives
he's
Luka
not
an
as
advantage.
good as.
No, of course.
It's hard to be
Luka.
6'1" and be a championship best player on the team. Unless
It's
you're Steph.
closer than what you
No,
want to give
he's
respect
not.
for.
He's
It's just
not.
that yes, he's taller. He can get himself to the basket easier than Trae Young can.
Everything Luka can do, everything Trae Young can do, Luka can do better.
Minimally,
I think Trae
They're
Young.
the same shooter.
There's an argument.
they
for,
are. But even although Luka,
Trae Young's a better free throw.
Trae had
shooter.
a way more efficient 3-point shooting season last year than
Yeah.
Luka's ever had.
Luka's
Luka's a better scorer though.
He is.
I think Trae
Because he
Young
can get to the basket easier.
as a playmaker,
They're right there.
I can give the edge to Trae. I will give the edge to Trae. Finishing, it's not close.
It's
Luka.
not even anywhere
Like,
near
it's
close.
a,
Bigger- yeah,
it's a
it's a bigger
legitimate
guy.
clearing.
Agreed.
The 3-point and outside shooting, if we're counting in mid range and 3-point shot, that goes to Luka.
Trae's a good mid-range shooter though.
And then if we talk about like a post game, Luka has a legit
He does.
post game.
He does have a
Trae
good
Young
post.
A
does.
game.
legit
do we
turnaround
discount
fadeaway.
that for a
We
point
can't
guard?
discount that.
We
Trae
can't
Young's still
discount that
averaging almost
facet of the
30.
game.
Yeah.
He's still averaging
I mean,
almost
Trae
30.
Young's like
Because I think
170
a big
pounds.
part of
Like-
Devin Booker's offensive game and why I think even last year he was better
Post-up?
than Mitchell is because of his post game.
Yeah.
I
But
think
is
that
that
matters.
But it does. But I feel like that's more of a size thing. You're not a.
It
you're
is.
not- You're not really a guard. Like I'm not gonna discount one person because he can't post up because it's really just a lack of a size thing. Like I don't want a 6'1" guard posting anybody up.
I know you're not expecting Trae to do that because of his size, and that's reasonable not to expect Trae to do that. But we can't also knock Luka
It's a
because he has a
plus.
size.
It's
to
a
do
plus
that.
Oh,
for
yeah,
Luka.
yeah,
And
It's not
that
negative for
plus is the
Trae.
reason why I feel like offensively there's a separation between the two. And like you mentioned, Trae Young has bad moments in the playoffs, mostly that one series versus the
It's
Heat.
just that series.
Luka doesn't have those moments. Like there's not a moment that Luka has that you could be like, wow, that was a horrible Luka game. He's an all-time great.
It's just that fourth
They've
quarters
they
against the
both done the
Clippers,
same
too.
thing in the playoffs.
I know they don't talk about the fourth quarter with Luka's against the Clippers either. The first three, he was arguably the best player on the court. That fourth
And we
quarter, he
forget
ran out
Trae
of
Young
steam.
playing 32 points in the second half on the road. That was nuts.
I know. I mean, you could say that they both been to the conference finals
Yeah,
in
they
their
both had the
respective
same
conference,
kinda, you know.
but Luka's had 8 40-point games in the playoffs. He's had 9.
Oh no, he's
30
Luka
point
in the
games.
playoffs turns into a different.
Trae in the
monster for
playoffs
sure.
has had 1 40-point
Yeah,
game.
it's been tough
Luka's
for him.
had 8 already,
Tough
and
for him.
Luka has what?
It's fucking
5
ridiculous.
playoff series in total, and he already has 8 40-point
No, yeah,
games.
he's a better
Not-
scorer
like
by far.
he's a locked in 30 a game when he's in a playoff environment. And then what he did to the Suns,
Yo, also, have you noticed that Luka's
amazing.
assist ratio has only gone down? Assist usage ratio has only gone down since entering the league.
Trae Young has also almost never missed the playoffs outside his rookie year.
nah, he hasn't. It's also a weaker conference though.
His team isn't that good.
His team is not that good. Neither
I
is
think
Luka's.
the Hawks roster is better than the Mavericks roster.
It's really not a much big difference.
It's not a big difference, but you're playing in the West. I mean, in the East compared to the
Can
West.
you name another creator on the Hawks?
on DeJounte?
No, he just got him. I'm saying like before. Well, because he has Kyrie. So if we don't play that card,
No. I can't name another creator.
Oh.
You can't name a starting center for the Mavericks.
It
Clint Capella?
used to be Kristaps.
No, for the Mavs.
oh
Yeah, it used to
oh
be
yeah,
Kristaps.
no. It did used to be Kristaps.
Uh,
Kristaps Capella.
JaVale
not a
really
big
was
difference.
bad last year.
Last
so
I think
understood.
3 seasons though. It's been last 2 seasons.
Well, bro, you were talking
it
up
hasn't
Christian
been.
Wood. What happened?
Ah,
Well, listen,
you said better than
you
Pascal.
know, he
Came and
flopped.
went.
What can I say? He flopped. What can I say?
Okay,
I can't say nothing. That's not a good starting center though.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not.
I
It's
mean,
not, no.
a center isn't
The Hawks got 2 of them. If we're being realistic.
Onyeka.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, that's. Yeah,
I think the
they also
Hawks.
have John Collins.
Yeah, I think the Hawks just win in the depth department. I think they have more depth. Like, there's more good NBA players on their team.
But now it's a clearing.
They have the same.
What do you mean?
The Mavs clearly have a better team than the Hawks right now.
It's close, man. But Luka's so good. That,
Wait a
you
minute,
know,
wait,
he can do what he
Close.
does.
It's not. It's not.
He
close
just said
at
that
all.
the team can go to the NBA Finals, and he's saying that it's close. Yep. So the Hawks can go to the NBA Finals.
No, I didn't say that.
That's what you just said.
I didn't say
No,
that.
bro, that's what you just said.
How did I
By
say
the
that?
transitive property.
How did I say that?
Here we go.
Nah,
You
it's
want to know
not
how?
between the Hawks and Mavs. It's not close. Whose roster's better?
Is it me?
I
Nah,
did.
he's bugging out.
It's
He's
me.
bugging out.
Did I just?
But you think the Hawk? Who's roster?
The
The
Mavs.
Mavericks.
Pretty
Mavericks.
comfortably.
You
Pretty
just said it's
comfortably.
similar, but Luka's. What are you
And
doing?
he also
Like
said
tears.
that the Mavericks could go to the championship. to beat
They
the
can come out the
Denver
West.
Nuggets.
If they get Clint Capella,
But you're
they can
saying
do
it's
it.
Keep
close.
talking about if they get this
And the
Clint guy.
Hawks should be.
Clint Capella kills me. I'm not gonna lie.
Clint Capella. You know what? I'm gonna look up.
That's
his
not
numbers.
why. I don't think the Hawks are at that level because their stars can't match up with the other top stars in the
Facts.
East. That's why.
Facts.
How you figure?
Trae Young not gonna outperform Giannis, bro. He's not gonna outperform Tatum. He's not.
He was right there though.
But he's
when they
not
played.
gonna ultimately. He's not gonna outperform him though.
Mhm.
Where Luka can be on par with any star that he faces in the playoffs.
But that's not the end all be all. Trae Young may not outperform a star, but he can uplift a team.
But they also
to where
don't
they
have the,
can be
they
in
don't
the
have the depth
conversation.
to outperform the Celtics, for example.
They was in it.
Yeah, they had one game winning shot.
Like, remove-
1-6.
Okay,
Right.
remove Luka and Kyrie and remove Trae and DeJounte. And then we just look at the rosters. You're not telling me the Hawks one is better?
Are you fucking serious?
No, I'm being dead ass with you, bro. No, I'm being so
Bro,
serious with you.
Yo, you're not serious.
I'm being so
It's-
serious with you.
You
Clint
just
Capella, Onyeka,
stop with this. Stop saying
DeAndre
Clint's name
Hunter.
first. DeAndre Hunter's okay. He's him
AJ
and Josh Green on
Griffin,
the same level.
AJ Griffin.
AJ
Jalen
Griffin's
Johnson.
good. Jaden Hardy is just as good as AJ Griffin. And
And
you
on
know
the other
that.
side, you got Grant,
DeAndre Hunter and Josh Green are the same player.
Lively.
Bogdan Bogdanovic.
He's good.
Trae Young was so fucking dumb against you guys.
Nah, he
Sadiq
was
Bey?
tweaking, especially those last I think game 1 or
Remember
2
Tim
he
Hardaway
struggled,
Jr.?
but the last 4 games he was OD.
DeAndre Hunter's better than Tim Hardaway Jr. though.
No, but DeAndre Hunter's
Tim
the same
Hardaway
as
Jr.
Josh
is
Green.
probably like their third, fourth best player. right
DeAndre
now.
Hunter and Josh Green are the same player.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's where they cancel out. The only thing you have is center depth, and you
Jalen
believe in
Johnson.
Lively because that's why you have them possibly
Jalen
come out the
Johnson.
West. What?
Jalen Johnson.
Yes,
You don't like Jalen Johnson?
we don't know yet, bro.
You don't, but we've seen him in minutes last year, spot minutes last year.
This is insane to me. This is insane to me.
But the clearing is you have Luka and Kyrie versus
Yes,
DeJounte.
that's
Even
the-
if you
it's the
take Luka
stars.
off the team, you keep Kyrie on their team. That's still a comparable team with Trae Young and DeJounte. It's still a comparable
I don't
team.
know. I think.
I mean, I'm
think
not
Trae
saying
and
that the
DeJounte-
Hawks. I'm not saying the Hawks roster clears the Mavs. I'm just saying I think
No,
they have.
selfish society.
Well, yeah. I'm not. No, what I'm saying is that the Hawks versus the Mavericks roster. I'm not saying the Hawks are way better than the Mavs. I think that they just have slightly more talent. Like we take away the two
Just
top
can't
stars
understand this logic.
I don't know
because
bro.
they have Luka. That's
but
why
you're telling me
They
God.
really-
they have
the
Luka
Hawks
and
don't
Kyrie
have that
with
much-
an entire
that
offseason.
much
I'm just gonna
talent.
disagree with the statement as a whole. I'm not.
You're making a poll on Twitter.
No.
Oh.
Ask them.
That's a Joel thing to do.
He also likes polls too.
Only funny ones. Nah, this is a
Who's the
serious
third and
conversation.
fourth best player on the Mavericks?
Maxi Kleba probably number 3 or 4, maybe,
Is it Grant?
Is
I
it
would say
Grant and
Josh
Tim
Green.
Hardaway Jr.?
or Josh Green's
Josh
another
Green.
one.
Josh
Facts.
Green.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that Clint Capella, Onyeka, DeAndre Hunter?
Why are we talking about DeAndre Hunter
Bogdan
like he's
Bogdanovic.
reliable though? Boyan Bogdan, whatever it is. I apologize
He's
for
a good player.
disrespecting him. Bogdan
not-
Bogdanovic. He's not a bad player. He's a role player. Here's what it is.
All these guys role players.
Yeah, they are. We're comparing.
No,
role
I
players,
understand.
yeah.
I'm just like I'm trying to compare that to what the Mavs have. Like Bogdan Bogdanovic is essentially what Tim Hardaway does.
Like I feel like if you swap these rosters and in the West you have Luka, Kyrie, DeAndre, Capella, Onyeka, AJ Griffin,
what are we
Sadiq
doing?
Bey.
Why are you giving them Luka and Kyrie?
No,
Swapping
I'm
the
saying if I'm
duos,
swapping the duos, I
Yeah,
would
the
look
duo is significantly
Yeah, but
better.
if Luka and Kyrie were surrounded with what Trae and DeJounte are surrounded by in Atlanta,
All right, well,
I would feel very comfortable about them making it out of their conference. I would. Like it's a good roster around them. It's good depth.
yeah, you're losing me. So last year they had Spencer Dinwiddie on the team, so it's a lot different. Spencer Dinwiddie or DeAndre Hunter.
I'd go Dinwiddie,
This shit's all a wash.
Christian Wood or Clint Capella for you.
Capella.
Okay.
Oh, biggest Christian Wood fan.
Yeah.
You don't think Capella's better than Christian
No,
Wood?
I easily do.
You thought
All right.
It's just crazy to
you
hear
thought
you say
Christian would
that.
be better
I
than
could change my
Pascal
opinion. Why
Siakam,
can't I
bro.
change my?
That's what you
That's
thought.
why.
You thought he can be better
Listen,
than
it
an
was a
all-star.
projection. It was wrong. Sometimes the projections didn't show the right
Yeah, I
image.
feel you. Let me ask you a question. What's the worst projection? That or what I said about Scotty Barnes?
Ooh, that one was tough.
What was
It was. I said that he could enter that superstar caliber.
Listen,
It's
fuck all
yours.
that. You saying Rick Carlisle was
It's-
going to be coach of the year was worse.
I was
than all
a
that.
year early.
He still wasn't coach.
Now he was good this year.
I don't know if you flip the duos. Atlanta still.
Yo,
nah, I
don't
don't know about
You
disrespect.
don't feel like
Yo,
the Hawks
yo.
can make the finals? They had Luka and Kyrie on their team instead of
They have a
Would
better
that-
chance.
would
Would that be
They have a
because
chance.
would that be because they make the team that much better? The East is weak.
Both.
I don't think they make the team that much better.
Luka?
Luka
And
and
Kyrie
Kyrie,
on the
Atlanta?
Hawks?
I think so.
How?
I think Luka moves me way more than Trae Young moves.
In what form, though?
He's like Joel said, he's basically does everything that Trae Young, but better, except maybe playmaking. He's 6'8". And Luka, Trae Young has also carried a team to the ECF, but Luka in the playoffs is insane.
Yeah, but how does he make Atlanta? Like, what does he do?
He's just a better player.
So if you put them two on this team, Atlanta team, they can beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
I give him better. I don't know. I give him a better chance for sure.
They took the Celtics to 6. If they had Luka
fraudulent.
and Kyrie on that team, could they beat the Celtics? Yeah, I can see it.
You know, Rick Carlisle's he's one coach of the year, right?
Yeah, I know.
We know.
So why is it like this horrible take that he would have
At the time, I mean, their starting roster was Brogdon, Karis LeVert, T.J. Warren,
Miles
Turner, and
Sabonis?
I mean, I just thought
he was cute.
I just thought they had a real obvious ceiling that coach of the year was not viable.
I thought they'd be good, man. I really did.
It's okay. It was your first year.
2 years early.
It was, and I was early on the Kings. That one hurts way worse.
Whatever your takes are, I'm just gonna hold them for another year.
Santos said that he can't wait for you to get your jersey and your shirt.
I really hope terribly that the bad quote unquote hated player is not who I think it is going.
You just
to.
watched the quarterback series, though.
I understand that, but bro, I'm on my hands and knees.
I'm just gonna say this because I looked it up real quick. Trae Young in the playoffs against you guys
No, he was
was in the 100th percentile in assist percentage.
He averaged what, 10?
Yeah.
How many assists? Do you have the number?
I can pull it up. Here we go. It's
because he didn't make the playoffs,
ouch.
so I can't do it right now.
Game by game, 8 assists, 6 assists, 9 assists, 15, 13, 10. If you want to hear the points per game too, 16, 24.
The last 4 were nuts.
32, 35, 38, 30. And that 38 was also with a game-tying 3.
They've been to the playoffs the same amount of times, though. You know that, right?
No, I wasn't trying to diss.
Yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
I couldn't compare them this year because he didn't make the.
But like the
But
total,
Trae Young was really good against the Hawks.
he was.
Boston was a better team.
But the playoff totals, though, Luka averages 32.5. Trae Young averages 26.4. Luka's at 7.9 assists. Trae's at 9. Luka's at 9.3 rebounds. Trae's at 3.4. Effective field goal percentage, Luka's at 54. Trae's at 46. PER, Luka's at 28. Trae's at 21. Box plus minus, Luka's at 9.7. Trae's at 3.1.
It's a clearing.
What's Luka's EFG?
54%. 54.6%.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And Trae's at 46%. The
His
Miami
career-
series dropped him.
I was going to say,
For
Trae Young, from what I'm looking at, his career is 15.5 EFG.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Like, really good.
Trae versus
Hey,
Luka, man.
Trae on the mid-range shots was in the 88th percentile in the playoffs, 57%.
Using cleaning the glass?
He
or-
was great.
Sure.
He was great in the
Yo,
playoffs.
cleaning the glass is cheese.
Yeah, he was pretty solid in the. I don't know. I don't
Look in
know.
this past.
Yo,
stretch,
one
you're
thing
saying?
I'll say
Yeah,
about
just this
Luka,
one.
he's cleaned up the
16.
turnovers.
I don't want to 7, 6. Sorry,
6.
Yeah. I
This
don't-
was by
they counted
far-
playing actually. So it's
This was
7.
by
Okay,
far
yeah.
his best year of keeping the basketball safe.
Luka?
It's
Yeah,
honestly,
he was in the 74th percentile this
it's
year.
honestly surprising to
Defense
me
ought laugh.
that the Mavericks won only 38 games because out of 11 offensive categories, they were elite in 8 of them. And the 3 they weren't elite in were like transition, things that really didn't matter, and like miscellaneous plays.
Transition matters. That's easy baskets.
not as much if you're a great half-court player like Luka who slows down the game.
Just look at the Lakers. We made a killing off of us being so great in transition.
hides a lot of deficiencies in other areas.
Agreed. It does.
But they were elite in almost every single offensive
Yeah,
category.
they were amazing.
But what brought them down, and the reason why they won 38 games was because the defense and the rebounding, especially the rebounding, was complete dog water.
Yeah, they're no
So,
big.
yeah, if they can just rebound at an average level, I think they're a 44-plus win team. And I don't think that's crazy to say.
Yeah, I mean, if Lively is able to get on the court, that's what they drafted him.
Just want to let you know that the Lakers and the Warriors won 44 games. They were scratching for a 6-7 seed. So that debunks your whole 4th seed theory. FYI.
Well, I just said if they're average. What if they're better?
I mean, listen, like I said, you're relying on rookies and Dwight Powell.
Listen, they just got Grant. Isn't he?
He's not a rebound
legend
guy.
He shows up in the big moments.
He
that's for sure.
does. Game 7 Milwaukee.
He's not a rebound. You just said
Put him in the
rebound.
And last year,
Banners,
the
man.
Mavs, they had some fourth quarters that they gave up some games, And then now they got Grant Will, who's a fourth quarter killer.
Oh, okay. I'm not going that far.
I'm gonna hit
Jesus
both of 'em.
Christ.
He missed.
I'm gonna hit both of them.
And the fourth quarter against the Heat when he gets in Jimmy
He's the
Butler's
reason they
face.
lost. Fuck. Yeah. I'm just saying. Listen, Trae Young has backpacked offenses a lot.
So is Luka.
So, yeah.
I mean, Luka led the best offensive rating in NBA history at the time in 2019, I believe.
I'm sure if I filter that in with other eras, that's
against the
cap.
Jazz.
No, he
They
did.
don't talk about that.
I'm sure if I filter in
Just
other
for
eras
narratives.
and
When we got the
Okay,
conversation,
yeah.
The Kings just had the
I've been
first
trying to do it
best,
for
the
years.
best offense rating in
Fucking
NBA history.
That's cap.
Tatum.
No, statistically, it's true.
Where's the job?
Filtered
Tatum
out,
first.
it might not be
So
number
good.
one,
more of a team player.
but at the time, the Mavericks
handsome.
were number one.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
His aura.
Trae Young's 6 feet, bro.
You feel it immediately, man.
Hey, listen,
Walk
props
into
to
that
him.
room.
The second you walk in there.
But
Oh my
Tyrese about to
God,
do something
just-
similar.
What was the
Locked in.
Pacers' offense ranking last
I wasn't
year?
even watching the game.
And just in the games he played.
So accurate.
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Do you think Tyrese Halliburton can go 5 straight years of leading a top 8 offense
We'll see.
as the number one ball handler, the only ball handler?
This guy's taking bait too much.
We'll see.
when it comes to Tyrese Halliburton.
We'll see. He did it last year. There were times.
Listen, bro,
just
there's
actually
nothing
you
wrong
didn't
with
know the answer.
bro. There's nothing wrong with understanding that Tyrese Halliburton is great. He's great.
Oh no, we're having a separate argument.
No, I understand this already.
He told me if Tyrese can lead a top 10 offense for 5 years straight.
No.
Is
That's
the answer yes?
That
or
was your
no?
question.
No.
Is the answer yes or
You
no?
like
I
to
said
not
we'll
add the
see.
middle part though. We were talking about Luka, and you said
I think he can do it. Yes, I do.
you said watch what Tyrese is about to do. He's about to be better in Trae Young. That's what you just said.
Yes,
Exactly. That's why I went on my can he do this, that, and the third? You
I think he
started it.
can.
He can
I think-
5 years in a row.
I think he can.
Okay.
The Pacers are making the playoffs next year, man.
I'm not going
Here
to
we
disagree
go.
with you. They're a
I
good
I'm
team.
going to say let's
go.
look at how immediately Trae Young went and impacted the Atlanta
And they make
Hawks.
ECF year 2.
Yes.
No,
and-
not year 2, year 3.
Year
I'll
3.
apologize. And then let's look at what happened with Tyrese Halliburton. Goes to the Kings. Yes, there was De'Aaron Fox in his way, but he was so damn good. It didn't matter. He was still getting his. And he gets traded, goes to the Pacers, play very, very well for what the expectation was to start the season. Then he gets injured, really unfortunate, comes back. They're just not the same basketball team regardless. So, I mean, you look at immediate impact. Next season, Tyrese Halliburton, with the way that you're talking, he needs to be in the playoffs at worst. If he does not make
get in.
I think they get it next year. I
think
do.
they get in next
You know
year.
why?
I'm
I don't
very
think
high
there's
on the Pacers.
8 teams better.
Do you know
than
why?
Pacers.
Because I think that the Nets will regress. If
I
they
don't
don't,
think
if
the
they
Nets
don't
are
make,
that good.
I don't think so either.
Oh, they're mid as shit.
I say they regress because obviously they made the playoffs. I don't think they'll be.
That's because they Kevin Durant and Kyrie
Well,
put
we
him
had
so
the
ahead.
top 6 is pretty locked, right? You got Boston, Milwaukee, the Heat, the Knicks, the Cavs. Who are we missing?
Philly, but
Philly,
Harden
maybe.
leaves.
Word if yes, the Pacers could
Just
get
the
in there
Magic
for
here,
sure.
man.
Playing.
Yes.
I think the Pacers get. I didn't disagree with you on that.
Maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but what SGA did with OKC this past season in the West, before
he have-
before Tyrese got
Please
hurt, he
stop.
was doing something similar
Does
with
he have the
Indiana.
scoring upside to average
was.
30, bro?
Bro, no, I'm not saying SGA. I'm not saying Tyrese is a better player than SGA.
No, I
know
know,
what
but
you're
I'm saying,
But-
in terms of both of them leading their teams over expectations, the Pacers were supposed to be a bottom 13 seed in the East.
So is OKC.
Yes, and
That's
the Pacers were the 5th seed in the East
in
before
January.
Tyrese got hurt.
What was it, like January?
I think it was a little bit earlier than that.
We looked at it. We
But
looked
it
at it. He
wasn't-
came back and they were sucked.
because he was still
You know,
dealing with an injury.
We can't.
that's
I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is we can't look at October, November, December and be like, well, he was doing this and this, so this could have weighed out because those are when the bad teams are supposed
I'm
to.
not-
go.
I'm not
The Jazz were.
Portland
one
was
of
a
the best
first
teams in
seed like the
league.
first 3 weeks of the year.
Well, of course, SGA
he did it all
was
year.
doing it all year. So what he did was by far more impressive. But if I'm not mistaken, the Pacers were that high at the All-Star break. If
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
mistaken.
I don't know. That's why
Because
I asked
in the second half of the
I could
season,
double
I
check.
believe we had a topic of like what teams do we think are going to regress in the second half.
we did.
And I one of the teams for me was the Pacers.
We all
Tyrese
picked the Pacers. Actually.
Tyrese had them that high, and I thought that was impressive. It wasn't for a full season, but that showed me enough. And listen, Trae has the body of work over Tyrese,
No,
but I
the
think,
Pacers were 26 and 34. No shot they were 15.
but I think 2-3 years from now we're gonna come back and we're gonna be like, listen, Tyrese versus Trae. I think
Buddy.
we're taking Tyrese.
Are you gonna start your monologue over? They weren't 5th seeded All-Star break.
So what was the record before Tyrese got
Oh,
hurt?
see, now you're asking for too much. I don't know.
You can look it up.
It says right here. I hope this is right. Bleacher Report be bugging.
I'm trying to
Halliburton
search
was
it.
playing when they were 25 and 34.
Since beating the Charlotte Hornets on January 8th, they have lost 16 of 19 games.
Goodness.
Jesus Christ.
But that was when I think he was hurt, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. They wasn't at the All-Star break. They wasn't no 5th seed. That's when they dropped.
They were 23-19 before he got hurt.
What was that? So that must have been
This
like
was January 11th.
there it is.
It was close to it. It wasn't at the All-Star break, but it was close to it.
I think the Jazz was still in the
Okay,
hunt.
January 11th, they were 23-18. Before he went down, the Pacers had won 8 of 10 games and were 6th in the conference standings. Since, they've lost 7 in a row and are now 9th. So they lost 7 in a row when Tyrese went out.
That makes sense.
That derailed their season, basically.
Which does make sense. You lose your best player, you get worse.
Yeah, but I mean, what Tyrese was doing with
Utah
Indiana was
22
very
and 23 at the
impressive.
time.
Huh?
Utah was 22-23 at the time.
Hey, Utah was fighting.
500.
They were fighting, and then they tanked blatantly by trading
respect
all
it.
the good players.
SGA was a little strong, but I get what you mean.
Was a little strong.
Wrong word.
But
Wrong
I
guy.
mean, it's just 2 players that
Well, I
have.
understand the selection of the guys, just that SGA was.
If you would've
SGA was all NBA.
if you would have used
Brunson?
that or like Garland before Donovan Mitchell got there that year where they got into the play and they made the jump into the play, and that would have made more sense.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of star player
That's a good one.
expectation.
Great one.
That's a better one.
That's
me.
a great one.
I'm just saying star player expectation. That's
But
it.
If you use the SGA, the expectation is star player to all NBA player to superstar level.
I think level with Riv Garland.
You don't think Tyrese was playing at all NBA level before his injury? I thought he was.
I
I
can't.
thought he
you
was.
can't. I don't. That's no.
Not
There was
first
too many
team.
guards better.
Especially not
He wasn't
first,
on.
bro.
I don't know, bro. That was
It
so
was a
early in the
while ago.
season,
It was a
bro.
while ago.
I can't even tell you if I remember.
He was definitely playing at that type of level, though.
But if he had
Like
made
he
All
was.
NBA, if he finished out like that,
If the Pacers made the playoffs as a top 6 seed, I think he does finish as an all NBA player.
Like De'Aaron Fox was amazing this
yeah,
season.
Fox,
That's an All NBA.
Luka, Steph,
Facts.
Dame, SGA. Who am I missing? Donovan Mitchell
I
was
don't even know.
elite.
Did Dame even make an All NBA team?
Dame did. He
Yeah, he
made
did.
13.
He made third.
That's
The odd
elite.
man
And
now-
Devin Booker was elite too.
I'm not saying it would have happened, but the debate would have been Fox and Halliburton for the 3rd team. That's what it would have been.
They
But
were the top 3 seed.
Kings
I don't
was
know.
third
Yeah.
in the West.
Yeah, it's 3rd in the West versus Tyrese backpacking to 6th in the East. That's really what the debate would have
Yeah.
been.
Third in the West is more impressive by far.
Yeah, it's more impressive, but I think Tyrese
And he
given
was
the
And he was the
roster-
clutchest player.
But he
in
was
the league.
exactly.
And he was dominating at the rim.
I think it goes to Fox, but what I'm saying is he was playing at an all NBA caliber level.
And then he wasn't a fraud because he went into the playoffs against you guys and was extremely
Yes,
good.
second most points ever in the debut in a game 1.
Did he have the most fourth quarter points in the series? No, the real fourth quarter king had it.
Oh, Steph,
Yeah, I know.
one of the all-time great players in NBA
You said they
history.
would lose.
Listen,
You actually
it's
ran your.
close.
And no, you
You
took
ran
you
your
took-
mouth after
Seven-
game
no,
two.
you took- games.
You took a victory lap. You tried
7
to
games.
You know,
You
you
did.
actually tried to ruin Riv's name.
After game 2. It was nuts. It was
I-
actually
I-
hilarious.
If I was Riv, I'll never be able to forgive that.
I had the last laugh.
The jig is
You
up.
tried to ruin his name.
I had the last
Listen,
laugh.
the Kings' suspect was wild.
Like I always do.
Now, what you did was foul.
the jig is up.
And honestly, I'm in hindsight happy that the Warriors won.
All right,
The
that's-
jig was
that's fair
up.
to say.
It just took some time for the jig to be up.
I don't even like the Warriors.
Who does?
I think the jig can only be up if you showcase you are indeed fraudulent.
Well, to
How
be fair,
can you-
at home in a game 7, they look like shit.
I don't think the Kings were fraudulent though.
They
I thought
were.
it
But
was
how
the
can you
most
make up a
competitive
definition
process.
for my phrase?
That's what I think it means though.
Yeah, but the way I use it is you have a little agenda, and when it's up, it's up.
That's
Jig
the
is
way
up.
I interpret it.
When it's
though.
up, it's up.
Like for example,
Uh-huh.
when Drew was high on the Raptors and they weren't good, and you said the jig is up, I took that as listen, the jig is up. The Raptors are dog shit. I'm thinking the jig is up means
There could be multiple
They-
definitions.
it's fraud.
In that
That's a
term, the
fact,
jig is
yeah.
up. They were done. This
so
term,
when you said the jig is up, I was thinking that's some disrespect right
no,
there.
it is. I wanted you to take that with all the most disrespect, but the jig was up, meaning that you had your little fun run. You made the 3rd seed.
2-0.
You will lose.
Up 2-0.
Yeah, you will lose in the first round, and all this was for nothing. And it happened.
For nothing.
Still,
Now, over
Story-
over
story-
1,000 likes on a victory lap up to
2 games.
is fucking
That
Mind
was
you,
crazy.
we didn't get
hilarious.
home yet. That's was the funniest
Yeah.
part. We didn't even get home yet.
And game 3 was without Draymond. or
And
game
John
4
tried
Game 3 was
and
without
John
Draymond.
tried to skate on that too.
He did.
This series will end in 5 games.
And John is nuts. John was a flip. He was a flip.
Which it will.
flop this playoffs.
He really was.
No,
he was
he-
bad.
yeah,
too.
he-
He was
he-
bad.
I've never seen Joel act like that in the playoffs. Like it's never been that bad.
All right, we got no more super chats, but just want to let you guys know that we are going to do the giveaway on our Patreon episode tomorrow. We are going to drop a Patreon episode tomorrow, and we're going to pick 3 winners for a shirt. We got you guys. We got your entries. We got your guys' sizes. So hopefully, this goes well, man. Hopefully when we have our drop, you guys are buying the merch. We really appreciate it. A lot of work went into doing this merch, designing these t-shirts.
Facts.
And the cloth is really comfortable cloth.
It is.
It is.
It is.
You know,
And of course,
fun
we're not.
fact,
It's not just the shirts, though. It's the shorts, and it's not just the shorts.
it's the hat.
It's the hat.
I do need the hat.
We're giving you a whole fucking.
Is it a trucker hat?
It's not a trucker hat. It's a
Nah.
dad hat.
Make it a truck. Oh,
It's a dad hat.
that's cool.
It's a
too.
daddy hat, bro.
That hat's cool too. Trucker
Facts.
hats is dope,
So
dope, too.
interesting fact: this shirt, where it's coming from, is called Comfort Colors. That's what you're gonna see on the tag. My Thirsty Anthony Edwards shirt from the same brand, Comfort Colors.
Fire.
So
We got
Anthony
the real
Edwards, pick a side. We're using the same type of material
Listen,
over here.
I ran this through the wash. It still looks great.
You dried it?
Of course.
Okay. Respect that.
Honestly, I wish that I dried and really fit me a little
Sit
bit
up,
more snug. You know.
Tightened up. You do like your clothes a little tight. Show
Amen.
off that great body you
And
got.
Riv Mookie said you better be ready for the debate tournament.
Yeah, I got this debate tournament on Thursday.
What's it for?
With Mookie. He's fucking hilarious. I'm arguing with this other guy about Kyrie versus Stockton and Jordan's Pippen versus Kobe and
Who are you
Shaq.
choosing between Stockton and Kyrie?
You know,
I
what side
wonder.
I'm on. Yeah, I'm on the old guy.
Queen.
On the old guy.
What is
side.
that for?
His Rated R Sports.
Rated R Sports debate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
tough. Okay, I'll check it out.
He's asking me to debate. I'm picking Stockton for sure, and then Jordan and Pippen, of course. So hopefully I don't get cooked.
Yeah,
You got to be prepared, man, for the Rated R debate.
I already have 90% of Kyrie's downfalls in my brain. So
Okay.
Oh, you were Stockton?
yeah, for sure.
Oh, I bad guy. I thought, Kyrie.
Kyrie's no.
My bad.
2016.
Okay.
All right, tough.
No shot.
Bro's got to upload. It's
2016.
been over 2 weeks since he last uploaded on his
Go to
channel.
live.
He's always live.
Always
Yeah.
live is right.
He's always live.
He was actually just live 5 hours ago.
Yeah, he came over, commented on the Pick a Side podcast.
Right now.
Yeah.
Shout out, bro. I apologize for not being in tune. I am subscribed. There it is.
So now you guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.
Riv.